Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second event of the 2026 season, National Havoc Robot League. My name is Kyle Crows. Joining me cage side, Sam Hansen. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well, Kyle. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be outside of Cage 2 where we've got two gnarly robots loaded in.
I am so excited. We have the literal pinnacle of combat robotics right now. Ben Hoxie, the Wall Part 2, multi-time champion just for this year, going up against a brand new bot, tasty as hell. And if you're wondering, yeah, that's a Minecraft reference. That lava chicken is, in fact, tasty as hell.
Oh, well, the Wall has been on a tear recently, Kyle. Not only did he win the last NHRL tournament, but he has won every tournament he's fought in since then. That's the RC Excitement, that's the WPI Open.
These are not slouchy tournaments either. There's some top tier bots competing at both of those events. He won the very first NHRL of the 2026 season. Ben Hoxie is the pinnacle of combat robotics right now. If you were wondering what peak combat robotics performance looks like, it's the Wall Part 2 and Ben Hoxie.
That's the Wall. From the sand bucket to Cage 2, we are about to get going.
Straight out the sand bucket, in fact. All right, for first event of the day, first match of the day.
5, 4.
Ooh, okay,
3,
getting a little
2,
test.
Fight, robots, fight.
The Wall Part 2 has a brand new plow that they made just for this event. And using it to great effect to pin Tasty up against the wall. Pun intended. And smash him. Look at that hit. Nicely done.
Tasty on its edge. Both robots having some trouble spinning up, it seems like.
Well, it's going to happen. Tasty's a new robot. The Wall is straight out the sandbox, as you said before.
And it looks like they're calling for an unstick. All right, Tasty's off the Wall. The Wall is on Tasty.
Nice, getting some good hits in on that plow. Tasty driving well. Nice job, Eli. Oh.
All right, Tasty has used their unstick, so the Wall just needs to prop them up one more time, just like that.
Just because of the geometry of Tasty, those wheels do tend to find the floor, and they're able to kind of rotate themselves down every time. Clever geometry, I like it. There we go, that might be the end right there. Oh, able to shake themselves loose. Nice job, Eli. Oh no, the wheels are up. The blade is stuck on the side rail. I'm not sure that Tasty is going to be able to get down now. Wow, the Wall showing some good sportsmanship, getting him down off of the wall for him.
The Wall just continues to smother Tasty.
Well, that weapon on Tasty is pretty scary. I get it. You don't want it to get spin up. That spin up is terrifying.
All right. Some good contact from the Wall right there. How many times are they going to knock Tasty back on its wheels?
I hope at least one more. This has been a fun fight. And you hear the countdown. Our official is calling this match. 3 seconds left. And the first match of the day ends in a knockout.
Valiant effort from the Tasty team.
Hey, if your first time fighting at NHRL is going up against the Wall Part 2,
The #1 ranked The Wall Part 2.
I mean, come on, that's a good day all the way around. Nice job, Eli and team. I think that went awesome. Good job, Eli.
Nice work.
The bot's still running. He's just ready for his next match, and he's got other chances today. It's gonna be fine. One thing's for sure, that match made me happy. I'm a little bit hungry now. I want some lava chicken. Lava chicken. So earlier we were talking about the wall part 2 coming straight out the sand bucket. They had a little mishap upstairs. Burnt a battery up. It's not how you want to start your day. It's super sketchy to start your day with an accident. Kind of throws your confidence through the rest of the day. But still able to win that first matchup pretty handily while being a good sportsman about it. Nice job, Ben.
All right, loading up next into Cage 2. We're going to have Grond and BRZRKR.
From an aesthetic standpoint only, BRZRKR is like the best 3-pound robot here. It looks so good.
There's just something about them horns.
Right? And they're practical too. It's armor, it's self-righting, it's really, really smart.
It fights like its namesake as well.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, look at that robot. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. You don't need to make your robot aesthetically pretty to compete here at the National Havoc Robot League, but man, we like it when you do. Look at the shield covers on the wheels. And there you see over across the box is Grond. Grond is I guess you could call him traditional archetype here at the National Havoc Robot League. 4-wheel drive, egg beater style spinner.
Say it's pretty traditional.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fight, robots, fight.
Nice angle there from Grond, not able to capitalize though. Grond has to self-right by hitting the wall, so that's intentional.
What a self-right, almost to the roof there. Now some weapon-to-weapon action. We have BRZRKR taking the advantage.
Yeah, BRZRKR really up at a higher speed. Ooh, nice angle there from the Grond, able to get that side armor and launch BRZRKR. I don't think Grond wants to go weapon-to-weapon with BRZRKR. They haven't really won any of those encounters so far. Oh, BRZRKR's got no belt. That belt is just dangling out of the weapon enclosure. This bodes well for the Grond.
They just got to get back on their wheels. Another unsuccessful self-right attempt.
Great pin. Ooh, nasty shot there from Grond.
A roof shot self-right. Uh-oh.
Oh. This is a terrible angle for the Grond. They're going to have to try to vibrate themselves off that sidewall. They've now called for the unstick. The one unstick has been used, and BRZRKR now has a strategy, a pathway to possibly winning this fight without a weapon.
Right, they just have to get Grond in that position one more time.
One thing's for sure, in these types of matchups, when you get them into a position once, it's just that much easier to get them into that same position again.
The ground game on Berserker seems to be their biggest weapon at this point. They managed to get underneath the TPU forks on Grond just about every time.
Nice pin.
Solid volley there.
And over there in the blue corner, that damaged belt from Berserker that really changed the entire trajectory of this matchup.
A buzzer beater shot at the end. This one's going to the judges. Kyle, what do you think?
I got to tell you, Mark did a great job switching up strategies on Berserker there and really utilizing its ground scraping wedge to gain a lot of control in that matchup. That last image of him being launched across the box is not going to bode super well for the judges, I don't think, but...
No, especially because the prove it period at the end saw Berserker unable to move. Those back wheels were not touching the ground while it was inverted.
Little Havoc 1 on 101 on the screen for you there. It's basic fight rules, right? 3 minutes per fight. Destroy your opponent's bot. Fight ends by tap out, knockout, or judge's decision. And each bot can use one unstick per fight. Everybody gets one. Top 8 bots qualify for prime time, and if they fight in prime time, they might get a spot at our pro tournament for 2026.
All right, Kyle, we got the next set of robots coming to cage 2 here. What do we have here?
We've got Mr. Lombardo with some swag. He's like wearing wheels on his hip. I think that's pretty sick, quite frankly. I love it. And we've got Tom Farkas rolling in with just a little guy named Frank.
And Frank's got a pair of mittens on it, looks like.
Yeah, little mittens to cover up those sharp edges, keep everybody safe, keep their little toesies safe. Yeah, this is going to be Frank versus B-Roll. B-Roll is a very interesting robot design.
It is. Peter.
It's a full body beater.
What's your strategy with B-Roll for this fight?
Go forward, hit him with the pointy end, and hope I don't die.
And B-Roll can go forward?
It's tough. It's a real tough sell, man. But we're going to see what we can do.
All right, thank you. Tom, what's your strategy for this fight with Frank?
I'm going to dump him in the back and then drive circles while taunting him.
That sounds like a strat. I'm excited to see how it plays out going forward and dumping, like which one's going to be the superior strategy.
I got to ask Tom. Tom, have you seen if B-Roll even fits back there yet?
It fits on top, but not in. But we'll see.
Nice. Are you worried about getting thrown into Frank?
I'm always worried about any sort of things, but being stuck in a bucket is always high on the list.
All right, let's get these bots in this cage. Let's get this fight going, see who fits where.
B-Roll, if you've ever watched one of their matchups, is an absolutely terrifying robot. The entirety of the body is the weapon, and it spins so fast. It's almost impossible to control. And in a weird way, it's almost impossible to hurt. Like, you can't do anything to it. But throwing it in a bucket, that's going to neutralize it pretty well.
It could if it doesn't chaos its way out of that dump truck.
And this is Frank. Like I said, he's just a little guy. He's got a little mustache. Before this, he was working at the construction site on Friday, and then he made the road trip here, you know. He's just a little guy.
It's been cool to watch Frank evolve, too.
Yeah, Frank has wheels now. Frank used to amble around. Yeah, there you see those two blades on B-roll. And that weird oblong body shape. This match will either be really awesome or really weird. It could be funny.
Right, we're going to watch B-Roll go to the pink corner.
Hey, it can kind of go forward.
That was really impressive.
Yeah. It's a lot of control for B-roll. Interesting thing about B-roll, too, is that center is obviously where all the motors are, all the batteries are, everything. So that weapon, when it gets up to speed, has the full weight of essentially the entire bot behind it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fight, robots, fight.
We're up to speed on
Frank
B-roll. We're
is
getting there
zippy,
anyway.
Kyle.
Yeah, Frank's very zippy.
It's down a tusk.
Frank bullying B-roll around there. That was nice. Ooh.
B-Roll trying to find bite. Getting it on the lifter. Oh my goodness.
Oh no. That's all the insides of Frank.
We really get to see what makes a robot in this match here. And it's a bunch of wires and electronics and some tape.
Attaching your bottom plate with wood screws is not a terrible idea, but man, when it fails, it's funny looking.
Knockout.
Well, Frank's gonna need some brain surgery after that one, but other than that, not a bad outing.
The repair shouldn't be too tough on Frank. It looks like the battery got disconnected in that bottom plate removal, but everything still seems to be there. No smoke, no fire. All the wheels are still attached.
He might need to tap some more screw holes, because those screw holes are now shot. And he's gonna have to fit everything into that yellow kind of organizing tray again.
Wow. Big old curl on that polycarbonate bottom plate.
I love how the safety mechanism of B-roll just holds the entire robot in a cradle, so it can't roll around. We always love it when Tom Farkas brings out his weird creations, his fun robots. fan just walked up to us and asked if MegatRON would be competing today. And that's true, just not for a while. That'll be later on today, perhaps in the KO show. I'm really excited about this next matchup, mainly because it's going to be fun. We're going to have a bot called Carnage Asada.
Oh, yes, this is a Red Storm style grab and lift.
Yeah, but the name, Carnage Asada, sick.
Yeah.
They'll be taking on Usagi, an overhead attack bot.
Usagi looking real forky in this configuration.
This is the forkiest Usagi we've seen in a long time. Usagi, one of the bots from the Sleepy Anime Girl Club team.
Formerly.
Formerly.
Of the Sleepy Anime Girl Club team. Now on team Black Cat Club, along with KaZaA and Chainsaw Kitty and Jake and Maximizer.
Fascinating. I didn't realize those teams converged. That's quite a force to be reckoned with. Yeah, so you can see that grabber lifter mechanism there. Usagi ranked number 4 for this event. Carnage Asada, lower ranked bot. That's just how the seating works early on in the day.
Dang, Usagi the 4th seed for today's tournament. Coming off of a famous fight against Clyde, where she managed to rupture Clyde's butane tank.
That's right. That was a lot of fun.
I know Julian and Carnage Asada were having some struggles with the lifter mechanism, getting all the gears to mesh properly. I can see him closely inspecting as he's testing it out in the box. Definitely an archetype that's susceptible to an overhead attack.
Yeah. Oh, no. I'd say that was an unsuccessful test, Sam.
Yeah. Usually, you never want your robot to smoke. Just like your children, you just don't want anyone to smoke.
What do you think that is, Sam? I mean, there wasn't a lot of smoke coming out of it.
Probably an ESC,
Yeah.
or maybe, yeah, probably an ESC.
ESC, a speed controller, which is, you know, what determines how much voltage you're throwing at your motors. And if that goes bad, it's pretty hard to, you know, control your robot because you can't throw electricity at anything anymore.
Yeah, you kind of need your electronics to drive your robot around and battle. Oh, okay, so drivetrain still seem to be working. I would imagine that was the weapon ESC for the lifter.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Electronic speed controller.
So Usagi gets a forfeit win there. Number 4 seed winning its first matchup of the day by forfeit. But we do have more from this team coming up next. It's going to be KaZaA Sky and Chainsaw Kitty with Black Cat Robotics.
Black Cat Club, yep.
I like it. The BCC. And you were telling me about this other competitor that KaZaA is going to be facing. A 6th grader, is that right?
Yes, from St. Luke's School, just around the corner. I believe it's her 2nd tournament here at NHRL.
Very cool. Yeah, Stormsurge. We've seen them around. Yeah, when you bring a robot for the first time to NHRL, just with the way our seating works, you're probably going to face one of your heroes. Right off the bat,
which is exciting and scary all at the same time.
right? They say don't meet your heroes, but at NHRL it means don't meet your heroes because they will just rip your robot in half.
Yeah, at NHRL, you beat your heroes.
If you can. Stormsurge is an SSP-style robot, SSP kit. It's a lifter mechanism with big old forks.
And I believe they have access to all 3 different modules that you can put into an SSP. But I think they are going to be running the lifter setup. I saw them doing some testing in the boxes upstairs. So I think that's what we're going to see in the cage as well.
Yeah, SSP kits are very durable, very good entry level, I'd say, or a little above entry level kits if you want to get into the sport. And now with multiple module options for weaponry. They started out with just this lifter, but now you can get different spinner options to add on to them. For a young builder, this is a great way to get into the sport with a very serviceable bot that you can really make your own.
Absolutely. Great way to get good at driving, which is super important, Kyle.
And also, like, how to put it together will teach you how to build your own and, like, what works and what doesn't. And servicing it is obviously, like, super important. So when you were in middle school, Sam, were you building robots?
I was, Kyle.
Did they have kits as good as the SSP back then?
No, there was nothing. There was erector sets and RC cars and tin cans and blender blades.
When Sam was building robots in middle school, he had rocks and sticks.
And we loved it.
They walked uphill both ways just to buy a single battery.
You couldn't even buy a single battery anywhere walkable.
Yeah, they did go with the lifter configuration. Chainsaw Kitty, I guess we should talk about. It is a vertical spinner. It is forky. It is extremely well driven. It's very fast. And it's packing a lot of knockout power in that weapon. One of the things most people notice about Chainsaw Kitty is that that weapon motor is out of the robot. It is just sitting right outside the body. Defend equality. Amen to that. You can see how chonky that belt is, but that whole apparatus is outside the body unarmored. Why? Because they want to save the power
5,
for
4,
the weapon.
3, 2, 1.
Fight, robots, fight.
And we're off. Chainsaw Kitty up to speed. No fear from Stormsurge.
Stormsurge desperately trying to get their bearings after that volley of hits. Yeah, they had a moment there while Chainsaw Kitty was trying to get back onto their wheels.
Looks like they're having left side drive issues on Stormsurge as well. Might
Yeah.
make self-righting a bit difficult.
Yeah, it looks like that front frame piece has been bent out of shape too. You can see the torque in the forks there. That's probably not helping with their driving either. Oh, we do have spinning on the wheels, but no movement out of Stormsurge. Are they high centered on a piece of debris?
I don't even see the wheels spinning, Kyle.
Oh, you're right. Look at the frame and how it's bent and detached from the top plate there.
All right, they've called for an unstick right at the
Tap
bell.
out.
They've tapped out. KO for Chainsaw Kitty, first one of the day. Probably not the last.
I did notice KaZaA's teammate came over to talk to them and basically explain what the buttons do and how they work before the matchup. Hey, if you need to tap out, it's this one. Hey, if you need an unstick, it's this one. And it was just middle of the fight. Just a reminder in case you don't want your bot to get destroyed. One thing about the NHRL community is it is the nicest community you're ever going to get involved to as far as a competitive sport.
And it's fun to fight people that are nice to you, Kyle.
It is, genuinely.
Little damage assessment going on in the cage. Making sure everyone has all the screws that they went in with.
STEM education is so important, and I think it's great how many like high schools, middle schools, colleges make NHRL and combat robotics in general a part of their STEM training and STEM education. It's such important life skills, figuring out how to design and build these things that can hold up to this much damage, be competitive at this level. Really cool stuff.
And so many different avenues of potential learnings that are available to you through Fighting Robots.
Yeah, absolutely.
Soft skills as well, Kyle. Learning how to be on a team, learning how to lose. Resource management. And it's kind of nice when you first start out, you really do learn how to lose because experience matters in these cages.
Amen. And you'll notice the teams that do well here are not the teams that show up day one and they're world beaters. No, it's the teams that show up and know how to talk to people, know how to learn, know how to figure out what works and what doesn't, who are brave enough to see something work and go talk to that competitor and say, hey, how are you doing that? What's going on with this? What material are you using here?
Yeah, the best resource is your fellow builder.
Yeah.
Maybe they've done what you're trying to do already. If not, perhaps they know someone who has.
One thing that I do love about this community is there are sub-communities within the community. For instance, there is an entire Discord server just for flamethrower robots. All of the flamethrower robots that compete in the United States all talk to each other. They share ideas. They talk about their new designs, what's going on. Before that, we had the Melty Brain forum where every Melty Brain style robot that is active in the world gets together, shares ideas, shares software.
And speaking of Melty Brains, Kyle, we've got one about to load into Cage 2 right now. And it's not just any Melty Brain. It is the best Melty Brain in all of Fighting Robots. That's Project Liftoff 3. A Melty Brain robot, Kyle, as we know, it spins in place. It uses its wheels to spin in place. And then it has software to pulse the drive motors to allow it to translate throughout the arena.
It is such an interesting take on a fighting robot. It comes a lot more to the programming and the drive skill than it does the actual weapon. The weapon's just the drive. It's really simple, mechanically speaking, right? It's just two wheels and a blade.
You'll
But
see
when
the lights on Project Liftoff, they kind of lock in as it spins up. That's its heading. So that's how the pilot, Jim Kazmer, knows where to steer the robot, where the robot is looking, so he can drive it around and get to the tasty bits of a robot like Hydrox.
Jim Kazmer, definitely one of the best designers and builders of these Melty Brain style robots. He's absolutely fascinated with the concept. And every version we've seen of Project Liftoff has just gotten better and better. He's even working on some semi-autonomous aspects to Project Liftoff. Pre-programmed movements and directions. Essentially, they operate like macros on a controller, right? I'm going to do this cool hook move. I'm going to flip this switch, and there it goes. Integrating LiDAR technology in some of his robots so that he has a full image of the entire box, and he can run it completely autonomously if needs be. Hydrox is what we would call the quintessential NHRL robot. It has got a FingerTech beater bar and two wheels. It's
5,
tried, it's true.
4, 3,
It works.
2, 1.
Fight, robots, fight.
No weapon spin up on Hydrox. Ooh. If my son was here, he would point out to me that Hydrox is actually the original sandwich cookie. Oreo is a ripoff of Hydrox, believe it or not. You can see those lights locked in on Project Liftoff. That means that Jim has control, that the programming is working, and that it's up to the right speed in order for him to translate movement across the box. Listen to that spin up. Oh, nasty. And you could see the kind of damage that Jim does to the floor with Project Liftoff as he drives around. Those are cleated wheels. Those are metal cleats on those wheels digging into that plywood, creating these circular patterns as it moves and especially as it stays stationary. That high speed on liftoff is absolutely terrifying. Yeah, right there. You could hear it. When it got up to that speed, you knew that hit was going to be devastating. That's the entire weight
I can hear Colby.
of that robot behind that hit. And that speed that it was hitting, that screech, is just insane amounts of kinetic energy. The fact that it kept the lights locked in while getting up to that speed is just an amazing feat of programming and engineering. Yeah, that fight went so well. Hydrox has to be scraped out of the box with a broom.
Just another day of light work for the Casmers.
The lights.
They have a little like pot holder plate to put Project Liftoff in.
Yeah, that's been their safety mechanism for a while now. Isn't it adorable? It can't hurt anything if its wheels aren't touching the ground.
It's just so cute to just like plop it right there.
Yeah. It's a super effective and simple safety. I love it.
That's the beautiful thing about safety weapon locks and safety mechanisms is like that's a little extra engineering you have to do for your robot.
Yeah.
Sometimes people put a little of themselves in just the weapon lock.
You can really tell who's a pro at this sport by their weapon lock too.
Oh yeah.
If they just have like a wood clamp on their robot, it's like, okay.
That can mean two things. That can mean I trust my safety so much that I could just clamp something and we're good. But then other people are like, I've been working on this robot 3 years. I wanna put me in this robot.
Yeah.
I wanna make the weapon lock all decorated, fancy.
Yeah, themed in.
I've seen a top hat.
By the way, forgot to mention, joining me cage side, Dima Papazian.
Hi guys. Hi everybody.
So good to see you, Dima.
You too. Walking back in the bowl at the start of the day before any fights have happened yet, it feels like home.
Yeah.
It feels like home.
Dima's been joining us on the broadcast team for part of last season and will be joining us on the broadcast team for all of this season. We're so happy to have her.
I get asked, like, do you miss competing? And of course I do, but there's just something about being here and getting to see every single fight that I really appreciate.
And I really appreciate your insight as a competitor, as a builder, as somebody with a lot of stakes in the game because so many of your friends and family are still playing.
Yeah, I like being unbiased. I like rooting for everybody, but there's sometimes when I'm like, that's my guy in there.
Yeah. Speaking of safeties, that's a cardboard safety right there. That's a literal cardboard box as a safety mechanism.
Well, if the safety director says that you can roll with that.
Well, once again, we have a Melty Brain in the box. This is TT. TT is new to me. I haven't seen this bot fight before, but you can see those low-slung kind of undercutter style blades. And the cardboard box keeps those wheels from touching anything, and that's how you make it safe. Like, literally, you can't do anything in that box.
Rarely do I get to see two Melties in a row. Rarely does anybody get to see two Melties in a row.
No, but we have a lot of Melties at this event. We have a lot of Melties, and we have a lot of overhead attack style robots at this event.
Sometimes that's just how registration and whatever people bring to the table, that's just how it shakes out.
Absolutely. And then over on the other side, we see Blink, one of the fastest robots in the competition today, just as far as wheel speed goes.
I see an amazing T-shirt by one of Blink's drivers. Severance T-shirt.
5,
And here we go.
4,
Blink's
3,
a great looking
2,
robot, just very
1.
aesthetically
Fight,
pleasing.
robots, fight.
That wedge on the front, if they can get a good rush early, I think they could win the ground game and not let TT touch the ground.
They're like letting TT spin up here, it feels like.
All right,
Ow.
slow and okay.
So TT, you'll notice, doesn't have the same kind of light setup as Project Liftoff. So they just kind of have to feel when their robot gets up to speed and when they have translational control over it.
So when you're fighting a Melty, your superior drive and your wheels should work to your advantage. But it looks like it's the opposite right now. They're getting stuck a whole lot.
Yeah, they are. Well, and those blades are huge on TT as well. I mean, it's really going to get bound up on some things in this arena.
It looks like something came off a TT.
Oh, that's not good. If you're out of balance in any way as a Melty Brain, you can't Melty Brain anymore.
This looks over. That's a tap out.
Tap
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Towards the end, we saw some grinding action from Blink, turning their weapon up to 100 and getting some damage in that way. I think that's an underrated tactic for blade verts or disc, like single disc verts. Just spin your weapon up all the way. Somebody's stuck in the corner. You could just keep biting and keep biting and keep shredding them to shreds, to smithereens.
So nice work, Blink. There you go, that cardboard safety mechanism going on.
Okay, it's a little silly. It's a little silly.
Yeah, it is a little silly. It's a little silly.
At least Sharpie the box, guys.
You know, that's a lot of Sharpie.
Get some stickers on that thing.
Maybe they didn't have proper ventilation to Sharpie that.
They know better than I do. Melties are not easy to make. I don't have a Melty in my experience pool of robots that I've driven. No Melties.
They're easy to build. I wouldn't say they're easy to program
No.
or operate.
Good point. The building, the physical building, that's all well and good.
Could
but
you imagine you just got to do a ring with 2 weapon motors? I mean, come on. Or two like drive motors?
You could say that about anything.
So easy.
It's a big wheel is just a brick between 2 pieces of plastic, right? it's all easy when you zoom out and you break it down on the macro level. Mako is just a hunk of plastic with a saw from Home Depot on it.
The first version of Project Liftoff did have rubber wheels, like vulcanized rubber wheels. And it was so funny because by the end of a competition, it would just be scraping on the ground because it would wear those wheels all the way down. Now it has like thick titanium wheels, which is a much better way of doing it.
I remember one of my first tournaments around 2 years ago now. Project Liftoff used to be even louder.
Yes, it was.
You could hear it from the other side of the room, and I was like, what is that scary, scary noise? And Julian was like, if we're fighting next to it, wear earplugs so you can hear me.
Yeah.
So we can coach each other.
It's a cool robot, and we've seen many different Melty Brains from the Casmers, including at like higher weight classes. That one thing that we're really still waiting on is a super effective 30-pound Melty Brain. Whoever builds that, they're gonna get a lot of props from this community.
They get roses no matter how that robot performs.
Yeah. So this is a rare fight, by the way. This is big wheel versus big wheel action.
Speak of the big wheel devil, and 2 of them up here.
Yeah, and the rarest of all big wheels, we have Torture, right?
Torture like torch, not torture like
Like the illegal in the Geneva Convention thing to do?
Yeah, not that. We're not gonna break you on the wheel. We're gonna break you on the big wheel.
Yeah. And then we have actual size. It looks just as big as it does in the rearview mirror.
Actual size has gone through many iterations since Max Morningstar has started fighting it at NHRL. I'm really excited to see it perform now. It looks like a new wheel style. You can see the gold tape. He's ready to withstand some flamethrower action. Torture has a pretty big chassis for a big wheel.
By the way, Max Morningstar of actual size, can we just talk about the change that this guy's had in his personality lately?
Oh, yeah.
He's gotten so arrogant, so just full of his, like, high on his own supply.
I don't like talking to that guy. It's like talking to Jack Torrance from The Shining. Like, he just stares at me. He, like, angles his head down, like, gives me the Kubrick stare, and he just looks at me. And I'm like, okay, this is scary. Max Morningstar is scaring me.
And that's his real name, but his government, his mom named him that name,
Yeah,
Maxwell
that's-
Morningstar.
That's no alias. I'm jealous, I'll admit.
Yeah, it's a pretty sick name. I'll go ahead and say it. So you can see this gold coloring here. That is just to keep the flames away.
Yeah, that's flame retardant tape. That's very easy to access. It's easy to buy. You can just buy some on Amazon. And to put that on your robot, it adds very minimal weight. It doesn't really take much to add it. And it saves you potentially seconds, potentially an entire KO if you can withstand flame, because a lot of these 3-pound robots have a lot of plastic and sensitive internal electric components.
Yeah.
You need a little bit to protect you against fire.
Yeah, and anything that gives you some seconds, right? Because you can hold these pins for just about 10 seconds. And if you can preserve your robot for, 11 seconds of flame, that's pretty good. You're doing well. You're giving yourself a chance to cool off.
You're adding some extra HP to your health bar for very little investment.
You do have one downside, though, and that's that it does tend to have a baked potato effect, where if something gets hot inside of the robot, it's holding that heat in.
Sometimes it's easy to think of damage in a robot as all of the guts are inside, and the outside is the harder stuff. But sometimes the outside can survive, but the guts get shaken around a little bit. And flamethrowers exemplify this. When even with all that tape, you might look fine, but stuff inside is getting cooked, like you said, like a baked potato.
And what you don't notice in these really hot flamethrower matchups is the stuff that's just falling apart inside. The circuit boards that are starting to lose cohesion. The solders that are just kind of falling apart. Right? All that stuff gets built with heat, and heat can deconstruct it very easily.
We've been saying all this, just getting so excited during the load-in, but not only is it rare to see two big wheels tussle against each other, just because there's not that many, I've yet to see a flamethrower big wheel. So this is many firsts
so
happening.
interesting.
4,
Torture is such a cool
3,
robot. I am excited, and I hope it works really, really well.
Robots fight.
All right,
Oh, my
that's
goodness.
Beautiful. Can they aim it? What's going on with the driving here?
They look a little frantic.
No.
There it is.
No. The wheel on Torture is no longer structural. You can see the team for Torture is really stressed out right now. They're not having a good time.
Yeah, they had their head in their hands briefly.
Yeah.
The flame is still working. It doesn't look like they can maneuver at all, though.
No, that wheel is just deconstructed. I don't think they had enough spokes.
Yeah, the big wheel design looks simple, but getting
Knockout.
those wheels working and being able to withstand multiple hits, that's the important part.
And you can see on actual size, the wheels are reinforced, right, with metal. Like, that looks like titanium reinforcement.
So a lot of big wheels, they might have different wheel configurations for different matchups. It looks like he went with the titanium or the metal
Yeah.
to withstand heat instead of going with plastic wheels.
Makes
But
so much sense.
In other fights, he might go with plastic wheels to maybe like take some impacts and not shred as much, but the wheels might be brittle against other, vert and horizontal style robots.
Yeah. The structure of your wheels definitely matters, though. Yeah, it's interesting. Carnegie Mellon, right? This is the Torture is a Carnegie Mellon robot. Carnegie Mellon is one of the best educational institutions in the world, right?
Yes.
Some of the smartest engineers in the world come out of Carnegie Mellon. Some of the smartest people in the world go to Carnegie Mellon to learn. They're kind of new to this sport. They don't have the pedigree here that, like a University of Ohio Cincinnati has.
They don't have years of experience and documents from club members and previous engineers before them to draw upon. They're trailblazing in more ways than one.
Sure.
So all credit to them. Not only trying new things, but founding a new sort of internal community to do so. Okay, Max has sort of like almost cheese that he wraps around those titanium wheels so they don't poke nobody.
I like it. That's really smart, actually.
I like it a lot. I like it a lot.
Maxwell Morningstar.
Even though you have to have your weapon lock all ready and keep your robot safe when you load in and out, there's metal bits sometimes, like forks, etc., that can get chewed up and sharp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really have to be thoughtful about that. And a lot of people do carry some like work gloves with them. just so when they have to maintain and manage their robots.
I see on the screen right now there's a countdown for a match that I'm particularly excited for. My robots that I want a golden dumpster with, TurboFIEND, is being driven by my brother instead of me today. They're giving me a countdown to get ready for it.
Now, your brother was the original builder of TurboFIEND?
Pretty much.
Yeah?
We're on the same team, but he's chief engineer, so to speak. He asked me what I want, and he makes it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's a bot to order.
Basically. Well, Julian's a very creative individual. He'll be like, what do you want to drive?
Yeah.
We got to make something new. What do you want to do? And we landed on a simple vert, but all the devil was in the detail, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
And your main skill set, I mean, not to begrudge your engineering prowess, but your main skill set is you're an esports competitor. You have reflexes. You have the ability to really operate a controller at a high level.
The adaptation in ring, the ability to lock in for 3 minutes, etc. Yes, that is where my skill set lies.
Makes sense.
Not to toot my own horn. I am a skilled pilot, driver, whatever you want to call it.
Now, speaking of skilled pilot drivers,
Absolutely.
perhaps the best skilled pilot driver in the competition today, Lars Elliott, with the number 3 seed IMPAKT, is in the arena taking on Claude. IMPAKT is just a no-nonsense robot.
Absolutely. Now,
5,
There's no gimmicks. It is a
3,
big, scary drum.
1.
Fight, robots, fight.
Tight, spring-loaded forks, and a driver that is just all steam. Oh, he waited.
Lars gave them a minute to see if they could wake up, and then
Oh, no, that's a belt missing right
now
off
it's
the
no
bat.
mercy. No mercy.
Yeah, that's exactly what that was. Oh, you moved. You're dead now. Goodbye. Notice how Lars self-rights so quickly. So many bots struggle with that self-right. That's such a practice move for him.
Too many pieces coming off, wheels, belts. This looks like a KO coming pretty soon. There's the tap out.
Tap out.
Good job,
Lars, just earlier this year, was at a very popular event in the Northeast with 3 different weight classes for 3 different robots, and he won first place in all of them.
I saw that news. I saw, Lars just triple crowned in 3 different divisions.
Yeah, at Motorama, which before NHRL, Motorama was like the preeminent event in the Northeast. That's the one everybody was looking forward to every year.
And he just won Beatles, Ants, and Fairy weights.
Yeah, just all of them. Just boom, 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 bye, bye, bye.
Made it look easy.
While eating Amish Hot Pockets the entire time.
I've heard legend, I've heard tell of the Amish Hot Pockets.
You especially should go to Motorama. You would love it. A, the vibes are immaculate. B, the food's fantastic. And C, you will find like RC sports that you didn't even know you liked there, and you will become a huge fan.
Oh yeah. I do want to take a second. That match exemplifies what I think is Lars's best skill as a driver is he will zero in on where you are going to fall.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much is reflexes or how much is prediction, but he will catch you where you land over and over again.
He'll launch you and then catch you.
Nobody juggles like Lars. And,
Yeah.
and like we've talked about it before, juggling is so important in this sport, especially for like verts or egg beaters.
Yep.
Combos. Like you want to get a hit and keep chaining those hits before they get a chance to catch their bearings, get a good position, spin up sometimes if you hit their weapon.
The only competitor that even comes close to Lars in consistency on that is Zach Knight. And Zach Knight is so good at it in that 12-pound weight class. But I think Lars just doesn't even have to think about it anymore. His body just does that now.
He's been doing this so long, and he's been doing this in such a significant portion of his youth that it's just natural for him now.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, when you get to the point where your intuitive driving matches up with your ability to strategize, you're just unstoppable.
You're in sync with yourself.
Yeah. Havoc 101, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 3 weight classes. You've been watching 3-pound fights with us all morning, I hope. It's 3 minutes per fight. Your goal is to destroy your opponent's robot. The fight ends by tap out, knockout, or a judge's decision. Each bot can use 1 unstick per fight and only 1. And if the top 8 bots qualify for primetime, and you know what? If you fight in primetime, you qualify for the Pro World Championship Tour.
Pro Tour is something new that we're doing for this season. It's very, very, very exciting. When I joined the sport, and I said, hey, I do tell my coworkers, tell my friends, hey, I do combat robotics. They're like, oh, are you a pro? And I say, at first I wasn't, but then when I started winning some money, when I started getting first NHRL, I was like, yeah, I'm a professional. And Pro Tour kind of gives the competitors a sort of road to becoming a pro. It gives you more goals and bigger events with higher stakes, bigger prizes, better competition.
That's right. Yeah, and you've seen it this morning, quite a few forfeits, quite a few bots getting in there and just not working all the way. You don't see that at a pro event. You see scary bot after scary bot, pro builder after pro builder.
Bots that are ready and battle tested, they had to top 8 one of these already extremely competitive events just to get to Pro Tour, just to have the rights to step into the cage.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got two check out our pits there. You can see how full they are this morning. You can see Lars up there in kind of the top center corner doing minor repairs after that last fight. He didn't have much to do.
Just checking to see if everything's still set properly.
Yeah, yeah.
The pits themselves are a magical place a little bit. People helping each other, people checking out robots in the rest of the field.
All right, so we've got two really amazing robots. So we've got Double Take. Double Take is a wedge and horizontal spinner combination. You can see the gold tape all over their robot. Why? Because they are going up against Titanium Hwhite, which is a torch-style flame robot in the 3-pound division. It's not throwing a ton of flame at you. What it's doing is creating a tight, concentrated, very, very pinpoint of heat. It's pinning you to the wall, and it is burning through whatever material you have. So it's really focusing the energy into one specific area. You might think that's less interesting than flames getting thrown all over the box, and then you watch Titanium Hwhite set an entire side panel on fire and burn through to a weapon motor or to a drive motor, and you go, oh, okay, I get it.
Once you start seeing things melt, it's a different sort of carnage.
It's so much fun to watch. Titanium Hwhite, you might imagine, is a Bob Ross-themed robot, by the way.
Oh my goodness, the mountains on the side are so beautiful, actually.
Yeah, and those happy little trees, they're just so happy.
Those are new.
5.
Yeah, he's really changed a lot on the design of the robot, but wait till you see later on this season the flamethrower module he's working on right now.
Here's that torch.
Yeah, look at it. It's not flashy, but look at how much damage it's doing.
You say it's not flashy, I see some flame inside of Double Take right now.
I'm saying it's not like billowing flames like you see from some of these flame robots. It's just creating so much damage in that one little spot. Look at that damage to the wedge.
Through the flame retardant tape, through it. The thing that's supposed to protect you from the flame is no longer protecting you from flame.
You see what I'm saying? Those were totally legal pins. Those were, 3 totally legal pins? And the damage that he did in those 3 totally legal pins was insane.
This robot has been getting iterated on every time I've seen it. I've seen it as a multi-bot. I've seen it as a single bot. I've seen it change its ground game. I've seen it upgrade its driving style. This looks really fearsome. That looked like it might have been a rough matchup for Titanium Hwhite, but that was a pretty decisive, essentially a KO. It was a tap out, but it looks like a KO was coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you saw the damage that he did look to the wedge, to the wheel, and then also to that side plate. I mean, just cooking those components to the point where they said, no, thank you. We are done.
The first flame that I saw, like, sort of come from inside Double Take, that was, it looked like in the middle of their weapon assembly.
Yeah.
And the weapon assembly usually is pretty protected for these big horizontals because there's a giant spinning weapon in front of it. So even if it's skeletal, or even if it's not a lot of armor around that, it's hard to get to the assembly. But the flame just shoots right through whatever's in front of it. Just heats it up, doesn't matter what's in front of it.
So I was talking to him yesterday, and he was showing me this design for a new flame module he's going to build the next Titanium Hwhite around. It still has the torch, but on either side of the torch, he has 2 more butane containers where he would be able to create projected flame from the torch itself. So he has the option to throw fire across the arena or do these pinpoint style attacks.
It's very interesting. I was just talking, I've seen it get iterated on. I haven't seen the weapon change very much, besides from a point of just increasing effectiveness. But now you're telling me there's a different style of attack he can do.
Yeah, he's basically giving himself more options and more range in the box.
Uh-oh.
We've got 5 minutes and 43 seconds until, and you could see
No, he's here right
him
now.
loading into the box right now. The most stylish member of Team Pandemonium.
Getting mean mugged by my older brother. That actually scared me. Don't do that again.
No, that's not good. We're going to wait till he gets his bot ready, and then I'm going to ask him some questions. I'm going to say you hang back on this one. Maybe you should let me do it.
Are you crying, Julian? Tears in your eyes? So, this is not only an important fight because it's TurboFIEND's first round of the day, so I'm very interested to see how my robot does, but it's up against the sincerest form of flattery, and if you could tell, those look a little similar archetypically. It is almost like the sincerest form of flattery is a little bit of a TurboFIEND clone in a way. The forks are different shape, the chassis is different shape, but it's the same idea. A little bit of a wide dustpan shape, a hub motor in the center, TPU uprights, you can see the same shape, and a single disc,
And
also
I just
basically the same shape.
want to remind everybody that TurboFIEND was Dima's robot to begin with.
I won with this robot. I won first with this robot back in October of now a year and a half ago.
But yeah, Julian was the
Jesus.
original, I guess, chief engineer on this robot, and now Julian's driving this robot.
He was so mad at the success that I was having. I beat him in grand finals of Last Mass Destruction.
That's right, you did.
So he went crazy and said, I'm done with Mako. I'm done. I'm going to roll with TurboFIEND now. Wrenched it out of my hands. Let's see if he's even any good at driving it, folks.
Julian's had quite a change in attitude lately, a real change in personality. Some might even say he's gone heel.
He's evil now. He's kind of a huge jerk.
But I will say he is by far the most stylish member of Team Pandemonium.
He's got some nice Fiend shoes on. He's got red shoes on.
5.
I'm gonna backseat this guy the whole time.
3, 2, 1.
Fight, robots, fight.
So we've got the original TurboFIEND going up the sincerest form of flattery.
Look a little lame on those six, Julian. I think you could be maneuvering a little better. Okay, give up your back. Bad strategy. Ooh. Getting roofed. Stuck on the wheel, stuck on the kick plate briefly, but it looks like Julian's still mostly in control of this fight. I see pieces coming off of TSFOF. Okay, okay. This isn't how I would do it, that's all I'll say.
Yeah, this is a lot more like barroom brawl style than I've seen you drive with, Dima.
Yeah, this is slugfest for real. Ooh, okay, okay.
Nasty.
My brother might know a thing or two. Okay, he's not even going for the kill. Like, where's your aggression, Julian?
I mean, keep in mind,
Focus.
Julian.
Don't even listen to me. Don't listen to me. Lock in, bro.
Yeah. It's got to be so frustrating watching somebody else drive your robot.
Like you wouldn't believe. I just keep thinking, oh, he should do this. Oh, he should do this. He should do this. Looks like the weapon went down, but Julian, very good driver in general. He can just control the rest of this fight. Getting coached by Jake Maximizer. His real name is Jake Hoffman, but we go by last name with robot names a lot in this sport.
Yeah, Jake Maximizer.
Julian Mako. Looks like TSFOF's top plate is not fully on there.
No, it's barely on there. Yeah, it's all warped. The bottom plate doesn't look that great either.
Ooh, couple exchanges like that. Might be all it takes. Yeah, push him into the wall.
I was speaking with Julian a little bit yesterday, and Julian said that this should be an easy day because he's used to controlling so many things with his typical robot with Mako that now he just has to point it and throw it at the opponent.
Basically.
No thought process, no strategy needed, just smash.
Yeah, TurboFIEND. Yeah, I'll say very little strategy goes into my robot. All right, all right. I wonder who won that. I have some idea.
So this is the real question, Dima. Would you have been proud of that fight if that was you?
But you know me. I hear TSFOF say, I'm not going to make it on my own, referring to getting to the doors. That's not great for the judges if you can't get back to the
No,
doors.
that prove it period is not proving very useful for them. That's not good.
It looks a little cute when the top plate's crumpled up like that.
Oh, look at that fork.
Okay. I think Jake and Julian were on the sidelines noting that the in-cage mic had been crumpled from a roof shot. It still works. But it took some structural damage. What happened, bro?
All right, I'm gonna go check in. So Julian, I gotta ask you, how do you think that fight went for you? First time driving TurboFIEND.
That was close, but the weapon went down kind of early, which is never good. But I think I did a good job of controlling him after that. Took down the drive side, slammed him around 2 pins. I think I caused a significant amount of harm.
Second question, why are you screaming?
Yeah, well.
He's evil now. I know the answer.
Yeah, that was a lot of harm. Not wrong. Not wrong.
All right, I'm not going to stop him from the loadout processes, but I do want to ask, do you think you're better than me? Hey, Jewel, do you think you're better than me after that one?
I know I'm better than you after that one.
All right.
I think he believes it. I think Julian believes it. I don't know if anybody else does, but I know Julian does.
I think people think this is like an act, but like I just got yelled at by my brother a little bit.
You kind of got bullied by your brother a little bit.
Yeah, I'm used to it.
We got Cage 1 loading in, ladies and gentlemen. It's 30-pound action coming your way. It's tag team 30-pound action coming your way. Currently.
BeeForce. We love our bee-themed robots here. But it's up against a reworked version of the World Champion 30-pounder. The World Champion 30-pounder is KaZaA Light, a multi-flamethrower. Now it is KaZaA Eins.
Yeah, singular, one KaZaA. It is all armor in a single bot package. Same body, more armor, heavier weight.
I have a feeling he is no less confident.
And you'll notice his seeding at this event, 9th seed, because KaZaA Eins is a different robot with a different seeding and ranking than KaZaA Light.
It hasn't been that many moons since I have watched him hoist the golden bread over his head, and yet, he's 9th seed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just the joys of coming to a 30-pound event, especially early in the season.
It makes such sense. It's just crazy to think Joshua Reinhardt is 9th seed.
Joshua Reinhardt driving a lot by himself this season because Peter Garnache, his normal driving partner for KaZaA Light, is not coming to as many events this year.
We can't all be so fortunate to live so close to the House of Havoc.
Yeah, and he runs his own events in Texas. He has a baby.
He's got a full plate.
He's trying to buy a house. He's got a very important engineering job. The guy's got a lot to do. He runs an entire parts company for combat robotics.
It's not even like he's retiring. He's like, I'm going to go to slightly less events this year.
Yeah, he'll still be around. enough to win a golden dumpster and possibly a golden Brett with KaZaA Light for sure.
How else is he going to promote his products through showing the carnage that they can produce?
Yeah. By showing off his own skill and then showing off the parts inside of the bots he destroys.
Uh-huh.
Now you can see BeeForce from Team Honeycracked. It's the most quintessential Maryland-style robot you will ever see. Treaded wheels. It's got the hub motor style spinner. Big, scary, scary looking robot.
3.
And the rare
2,
welded together weapon.
Fight, robots, fight.
All right, now let's see if Joshua Reinhardt can take a little taste of his own multi-medicine.
Yeah. That's not good.
They're leaving him
He's
there.
called for an unstick right off the bat.
And here comes the grinding. Here comes that hub motor. Sparks are flying. They're trying to chew through KaZaA's armor.
Dima, what is a hub motor?
I'll tell you after. I'm too focused on the flame, on the fireballs erupting.
The normal strategy of KaZaA Light is a double robot pin and burn, creating this kind of tornado of flame effect. With a single bot, it's so hard to gain control, especially when you have two high-spinning opponents.
Especially because now he has to get pins on the wall, basically. He used to be able to get pins in the middle. Oh, goodness. The crowd is going nuts for every hit. He used to be able to pin it up against the other robot, basically. He can't do that no more.
No, sure
But
can.
BeeForce can do it to him.
And both weapons on BeeForce are still working.
Looks like a tread belt on one segment of BeeForce is off, and they're having trouble driving, but the weapon is still spinning at full force.
Yeah.
Here's the pin. Can't hold it for more than 10 seconds, but that's 10 seconds you're getting cooked.
And you can see
Ooh.
that fire directly on the treaded wheel, and the flame lingers on the armor next to the treaded wheel after the fact.
And now he's going for the other segment, too.
Nice cook there. Nice aggression from KaZaA Eins.
He knows what to do. He knows to keep them separated, stay away from the alive weapon on the half that's hard driving. They got no unstick left. That is, oh my goodness. Are you able to KO both segments in?
It looks like it. Have they called for an unstick yet? I think they haven't called for an unstick. They still have one. Yeah, unstick has been called.
I forgot. The unstick was for
KaZaA. Yeah, right off the bat.
But he's
So
stopping the house bot.
there are 42 seconds and nobody has an unstick left.
He's just instead of stopping the house bot anymore, he's just going right for that segment that's stuck. But they got 30 seconds. What do you make happen?
And you can see the cumulative damage of the flames. Look at these treads and how loosey-goosey and flopping off the wheels just from the heat expanding and contracting on that rubber.
And then they try to move after, and things shift around, and they break off and fall.
Wow.
What a fight.
Knockout.
Joshua does not have to make a name for himself. He's done that time and time again, but he's showing I can do it all by myself. I do not need a multi-bot. I do not need a driving partner.
Not only that, he can take on one of the best multi-bot configurations in the sport by himself.
Not only that, but he basically KO'd both segments, completely immobilized them, went for one, and then 5 seconds later went for the other. It wasn't like, okay, I KO'd this one, let's tussle for a minute.
No,
He just
knocked them both out.
That was ridiculous. I say the word masterclass a lot, but I think there are some lessons to be taken from that fight for anybody who wants to improve their driving. Watch this match a few times.
Do you know what that means? KaZaA Eins faces Ares in the next round now. Ares, the god of war, Ryan Duarte from MIT, back after a disappointing season in 2025 to prove that MIT Combat Robotics is the best club in the college circuit, the best club at the National Havoc Robot League.
I didn't even have anything to say for a second because I just went like slackjaw just imagining the fight that we're going to be treated to in some time.
By the way, does Joshua Reinhardt have a MIT level education?
Nuh-uh.
Joshua's just a guy from Connecticut. Literally.
As some random girl from Connecticut, and Julian, my brother, is some random guy from Connecticut, I do think that there is something to that style of competitor.
That style of competitor does very, very well here.
We got a lot of really, really accomplished engineers in this sport of all different kinds, all different backgrounds, all different educations. But then we got people who learn engineering through the sports.
Yeah, 100%.
And they come and tussle with the best of them. It's a really beautiful thing.
And Joshua's really developed that multi-bot strategy in the 30-pound weight class to the point where he's adapted with the rule changes. He's made improvements on his bots as time has gone on. And now he can see other people's multi-bot configurations and just pick their strategy apart. That was impressive.
Maybe he is one of, if not the best multi-bot drivers there is.
Yeah.
So he knows what to do on the other side.
And what's crazy about that is Peter Garnache, as we said earlier, lives in Texas. They don't get to practice all the time.
Not like we do.
Yeah.
Not only getting to go to every NHRL like that, but also, hey, there's Motorama not too far away. There's Mass Destruction. There's other smaller
There's
events.
G-Scroll. There's all these other Northeastern events that you can really go play at.
That's where I cut my teeth when I started at NHRL. I went to G-Scroll and I went to Mass D2. Sort of, I don't want to call them satellites, but they're smaller tournaments than NHRL, but with the same, mostly the same level of competition because the most prominent and powerful bots in the Northeast, those top seeds, they're getting practice too.
Yeah, and the really good competitors, they practice all the time, and they do it at these smaller events. They cut their teeth at these smaller events.
Tons of matchup experience, testing new configurations, testing new parts, testing new styles of driving, anything.
By the way, as a fan going to those smaller events, if you have an opportunity, it's super fun because you have people that you've looked up to and thought very highly of forever, and they're like 2 feet away from you.
I was gonna say the exact same number, like two feet away from you. Yeah. They're like just at a fold-out table. You can just walk up to them.
You just check them out in the pits and see what they're building and what they're working on.
Okay, well, don't bother them while they're repairing, but you can tell when somebody's not really doing anything.
Yeah. Be considerate.
Ask a question. Be considerate to our builders, but also if they're on their phones, you could probably interrupt them and say, "Hey, that's really cool. That thing you built. Can you tell me just a little more about it?" Our astute cage staff doing a great job of keeping the cage clean, easy to drive in, removing sawdust and small pieces of rubber and belts.
You can check out the bottom scroll, by the way, on your live stream. It'll give you some judges' decisions from earlier matchups, as well as matchups that happened in cages 5 and 6. We're not on our live stream.
I am seeing a judge's decision for TurboFIEND versus the Sincerest Form of Flattery. I sort of did a few in my head a little bit. I went, phew. TurboFIEND had won that fight. Okay. We're loading in something else really fun. Another treat for you folks. I'm going to get a closer look at this thing before it's really in the cage.
I think you should.
Colossus, a 3-pound big wheel from Brandeis, has been upgraded, has been sized up even bigger. What is it called, Kyle? Do you know?
Gargantuan.
This thing is, it's not just beautiful, it is a beaut. You know what I mean by that? That's a beaut right there.
This is the biggest wheels on a big wheeled bot at the National Havoc Robot League. I would say everywhere except the heavyweight class of combat robotics.
And even then, it might be comparable in size.
Extremely, yeah. Absolutely massive. We were talking about this yesterday. The standard size for big wheeled wheels is 16 inches.
Okay.
And that is because Huge has 16-inch wheels, right?
Huge, the big wheel that all big wheels sort of evolve from, the progenitor.
That is correct, yes. So somewhere in some Discord server, somebody said, hey, how big are your wheels? And they said 16 inches. And that just became the standard. And I like it that Gargantuan said, why not bigger?
You know, a classic engineer said, well, let's find the upper limit on this. I'm going to get out of the driver's way. I took a lot of time sitting cage side, ogling this beautiful robot. And it is up against Ghoul.
I love Ghoul.
Particularly ghoulish design as well.
Ghoul is one of those robots that started out their life looking like a Home Depot constructed robot and has turned into a more and more professional package as time has gone on.
It's sort of got like the 90s slime colors, like the old TMNT logo colors.
Heck yeah.
I'm really excited
5,
to see
4,
these weapon-to-weapon
3,
engagements. I think something's going to
2,
break. That's what I think.
1.
I think you might be
Fight,
right.
robots,
I am excited to
fight.
see Gargantuan work. Jesus, it's huge. Look at that thing.
It's like looking at a huge animal in a zoo. It's like a big cat.
Oh.
There's the wedge armor on the front of Ghoul. As long as it tanked one hit, though, they did its job. Oh, that's a belt. The weapon I think is down. That looks down for good.
Yeah, you could feel. Oh no, it's back up.
Spoke too soon.
You could feel that weapon-to-weapon impact in your chest standing cage side here.
Oh yeah. It looks like there's some really like tuned-in gyro on Gargantuan. It moves so smooth.
Yeah. It definitely does not look like a new robot.
You don't want to let it ride on top of you and start chewing up your top though. This looks bad for Ghoul. This looks like a bad spot to be in.
Oh, what just flew off? Oh, that's armor.
The other piece of the wedge.
Yeah, that's gone. Oh.
There's the tap out.
Yeah, that's a tap out. Ghoul says no thank you.
They decided they did not want to play around with unsticks and try to survive with no weapon, while Gargantuan looked in the driver's seat firmly throughout that entire fight.
It felt like a mulcher there at the end. Like it was just about to consume the Ghoul.
It was about to just walk up and just start biting whatever it could. This is... Ghoul is a robot to watch, but I think you can see by his performance, Gargantuan is a robot to watch. And will have, I believe, electrifying performances throughout this entire event. So
Yeah, that was really impressive.
stay tuned for more big wheel action. It looks like we have, today especially, a good number of big wheels in the big 2-6.
Yeah.
The meta is shifting in a way that I think is very, very fun and interesting.
I am a big fan of bot diversity, and the fact that we have so many interesting designs here makes me very, very happy.
There's a lot of archetypes that you can take into the cage. Big wheels, when I started this sport a couple, 2.5 years ago, maybe a little more at this point, I didn't see a whole lot of them.
No.
There would be events where you didn't see any. And now that would be strange to have an event where you don't see any. Let alone, you know, we've seen, what, 3 already since I've started commentary today, since I've been cage side today? Torture, actual size, Gargantuan.
Yeah. And Torture, a flamethrower big wheel. Like, what is that?
Good question. What is that?
What is that? Insanity. That's what it is. It's Carnegie Mellon kids doing weird stuff.
Too smart for their own good.
By the way, we were workshopping yesterday calling the 16-inch big wheel standard size, calling it a Durfler,
Interesting.
and using that as a unit of measurement,
It's pretty catchy.
right?
I'm all for like weird units of measurements.
Yeah. I'd say that Gargantuan is like 1 1/4 Durflers.
Certain measurements you only use for like one thing. Like, when's the last time you've heard of a drum of anything besides oil? Or
Yeah, right?
A barrel of something.
Barrel, I'm sure they sell molasses by the barrel, but you don't talk about it.
I wanna like measure some furniture in my apartment and be like, that's 2 Dorflers. I can fit a Dorfler-sized kitchen cart in my kitchen.
Durflers, by the way, are the brothers that build Huge at these events. They are on Team Huge, and
Really?
they are.
Really cannot overemphasize how much Huge is like progenitor, the original ancestor of all these big wheels.
Exactly.
It's like having like having a common ancestor in the evolutionary tree to point to. I love those kinds of robots, like the classic Tombstone that all Tomb clones are derived from.
Yeah.
Tombstone is the original in history books, in those old dinosaur books.
The original successful design. There are big-wheeled robots that have existed before Huge, but Huge was the first one that people went, oh, that works.
Good point. Good point.
That's a robot. That's a thing that can kill stuff.
And kill stuff it does.
Boy, does it.
Cool. I think that's going to be it for me and Kyle cage side for a moment. It's been a real pleasure announcing so far. I'm going to be back in the play-by-play booth later. Stick around because we have Robot Carnage in action all day.
We got a quick video package for you guys here. Check this out.
Better fights, clearer outcomes, and a stronger experience for both fans and competitors alike. Here's what's new for the 2026 season at the National Havoc Robot League. The 2026 rule set pushes much harder towards using your active weapon to attack and cause actual harm. It's always been this way at NHRL, but now we're doubling down. Why? Because it leads to more entertaining fights, more understandable outcomes, and a better experience overall for everyone, both watching and competing. Judging now reflects that philosophy. We've gone from 3 judging categories down to 2, condition and attack. Condition replaces what used to be known as damage, but it's flipped. Instead of getting judged on the damage you do to your opponent, you're now judged on the condition of your robot at the end of the match. Attack replaces control and aggression, and it measures the intensity and frequency of your attacks, and critically, how effective you were at causing harm with your active weapon. Going from 3 categories to 2 will allow us to have faster judges' decisions, more consistency, and a clearer alignment between what happens in the cage and what fans expect the outcome of the match to be. Next up, how you compete. So for 2026, we have 3 distinct competitive paths. Some people enjoy showing up, immediately getting matched up against elite teams, and going 0-2. But that doesn't necessarily make you a better builder, and it isn't necessarily the best on-ramp into the sport of fighting robots. XP creates a softer landing for newcomers, so they get more fights, more experience, and a clear progression towards open tournaments. The opens stay largely the same, but with a more fair ranking system and a registration that prioritizes experienced competitors. The biggest addition for 2026 is the Pro Tour. The Pro Tour is 3 invite-only events. These events feature the absolute best builders in the world, major prizes, and the highest level of competition NHRL has ever seen. If you reach prime time at a qualifying event, you'll earn an invite. You don't have to attend, but we think you'll want to. Pro Tour introduces an NHRL Pro rank, which determines your seeding at the NHRL Pro World Championships. Top 4 at an Open still qualifies you for the World Champs, but your Pro Tour rank determines where you'll start. We want the intensity, the prestige, and energy of Worlds throughout the year, not just at the finale. Fans are showing up, builders are raising their game, and the demand is real. These changes represent the next stage of NHRL's evolution. Stronger rules, clearer competition paths, higher stakes, and bigger stages. We are so excited for this 2026 season, and we can't wait to see what you build.
All right, we've got more Cage 1 action. 2 bots you might not be familiar with. It's the delicious layer cake known as Lasagna, going up against the B.O.A.T,
Which stands for?
biggest of all time.
These wheels are big, folks. They are playing into the big wheel archetype and reminding you just how big this sucker is.
But are they talking about the wheels, or are they talking about that weapon blade? Because that is crazy looking. Look at that thing.
It's crazy looking.
It's like a mustache of death.
Why is it? They know better than I do why it's shaped like that. I assume that weapon is not going to break. It might go down, the motors might break, but I don't think anything's happening to that blade.
No, that's a big belly on that blade. That's huge.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Fight, robots, fight.
There you see Lasagna getting up to speed. You can't even see the weapon on Lasagna. So fast.
B.O.A.T took some damage, but it looks like it's all still working like it should. That's the thing about big wheels is even if those wheels get bent, they still spin like that. Not perfect, not like the start of the fight.
I have not seen the weapon spin up on either bot here in a minute.
That's true, and you can see what looks like a motor gear, if I'm correct, on the
Yeah.
weapon assembly just came off. That's what I said. The weapon might go down, but it won't be the blade.
Yeah.
All right, looking how some big wheels get where they start losing their drive. It's like a big beast losing its legs. It's just like grazing the ground, so to speak. Getting pushed around. Lasagna looks much, much more maneuverable, and if both weapons are down, that's the key to victory here. Who could drive better?
And I like that their self-righting stick is high enough to really push B.O.A.T around.
Looks like a good matchup for Lasagna. Some hindsight maybe, but it looks like that stick was really good in the matchup.
You know, it would be a bad matchup for Lasagna.
Garfield.
Garfield.
It took me a second. I was like, what would be a bad matchup? I was like, oh, easiest layup of my life.
The unstick has been called mainly because our official for this matchup was asking the B.O.A.T team
To
show some motion, and they were not able to do so. Kokoto Mane is operating this rather usable and functional robot, which is not Kokoto's normal thing. He builds weird stuff.
And there's the KO counts. Not a tap out this time. We let the seconds count down. That is a KO.
Yeah.
So Kokoto is used to building weirder robots. There's a little weirdness in B.O.A.T. And I'm not sure how much he built versus how much he's piloting. You know, these WPI kids, they all work together.
Yes, they do. Yeah, that's the fun part about the college teams. The stuff that's truly just Kokoto is like Power of Friendship or Serial Killer.
Ooh, I miss him.
Me too.
I miss
It's
Serial
just so
Killer.
much fun. Or Kill It With Fire. Kill It With Fire is one of my very favorite Kokoto designs. It's literally a cigar torch lighter on top of an articulating arm.
Believe
It's
me,
an
I know.
Overhead attack flamebot.
Me and Julian have a trophy of that lighter.
It's so smart.
It's a great fight. It was there. I believe that was B.O.A.T's first round in prelims. So
Yep.
even though they're KO'd, they have two
got
more
more
shots
chances,
to
yeah.
make it in bracket.
2 more chances. Yeah, those wheels started to fall apart real quick after those hits with Lasagna.
Well, that's how you take out a big wheel. You either gotta somehow have a weapon that can take theirs out, or you gotta outdrive them, get to the sides, and dismantle their wheels. The trick is the wheels are so flexible, they don't really break when they take a hit, like a plastic or a metal shell might. They're more rubbery, so they flex and they can survive some damage. Not that much though.
We're standing right next to Lasagna, which they just brought out of the box, and I'm noticing that the blade on Lasagna is relatively thin, which certainly helps when you're trying to cut apart those big wheels, right? You don't want a big chunking club of a blade. Having this nice thin blade is very helpful.
The difference between crushing damage and slashing damage.
Yeah, for sure. You're never going to crush that UHMW or plastic style wheel on a huge robot, but you could cut it.
It's high beat. Every kind of armor in this sport has weaknesses. It's always
You
strengths
can
and
see
weaknesses.
on screen right now the damage to that wheels. I mean, you just split it, and as soon as the weight lands on that split, everything's going to fall apart.
Exactly. The more spokes there are, the less damaging an individual split is.
Yeah.
But all you need is one or two really bad ones. And it's not just, oh, you're KO'd because the wheel's down. It's, oh, you're driving worse, and now I can keep getting angles on you where I can keep damaging those weak points.
Well, that was extremely impressive by Lasagna.
Happy I got to have one more big wheel. Now my big wheel count for the day is up to 4.
Yeah.
Before we get ready to kick it over
It's a huge amount of big wheels, huge amount of overhead attack style robots, and quite frankly, way too many flamethrowers at this event.
I think people are starting to be less afraid of building flame, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's scary to have a flamethrower in your house. It just is.
There are risks to coming to our event with a flamethrower style robot. Their fire marshal has to sign off on every single apparatus. And you know what? Your flamethrower apparatus might be fine at one event, and then the rules change, and maybe at the next event, you got to change a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, it's getting the flamethrower ready is just a little harder than maybe a lot harder than certain other archetypes. But I think we are ready to kick it over to Sam and Adam in the booth. Is Sam and Adam?
Sam and Adam.
What a pair.
Yes.
What a pair. I love those two.
Thank you so much. In the booth here with Adam, this is Sam Hansen here with Adam Wrigley. Adam, how you doing?
Yeah, fun to be here. Exciting day. The pits are really great vibes today. You know, second event of the year. I think you come in February, everyone's still kind of asleep from the holidays.
Yeah.
But March, we're hitting hard. We're ready to go. We're getting on a roll on here, and a lot of big hitters today.
Speaking of which, loading into Cage 1 now, we've got Blue Cheese and Tartarus. Blue Cheese rocking a 6-wheel design this go around. We haven't seen them for a minute. Cool to see them back.
Yeah, 6-wheel drive, interesting config here. It's nice to see the two different setups here. Tartarus on the right with just one big wheel, reaches top and bottom. Blue Cheese going with smaller wheels, extra set up top for invertibility. So both robots running invertible symmetric designs, different takes on it. You can see Tartarus effectively a 4-wheel drive vert when the wheels are on the ground. Blue Cheese effectively a 4-wheel drive vert. Tartarus 2-wheel drive. That's going to give you different turning rates. 2-wheel drive turns a lot faster than 4-wheel drive. That sounds good. Sometimes it can be bad, result in oversteering. You can see right there, they kind of oversteered into the house robot. But it can give you a twitchy feel. A lot of drivers like that. They like the twitchiness. Some like the control. So how do you think that's going to play out here?
I think it's not going to play out well for Tartarus. I think once that weapon's going, that twitchiness is just going to turn into some nasty gyroing where they tip over on their side.
5,
And I think Blue Cheese is going to take advantage of that.
3,
Yeah, both robots
2,
here have been here a
1.
bunch.
Fight.
Four
Robots
events for
fight.
Tartarus, 7 for Blue Cheese. Haven't fought each other before.
Oh my God, that was a big first hit.
I don't know if the wheels have much to do with these hits, but that weapon geometry is working for Blue Cheese.
Blue Cheese is rocking a big old S7 steel beater.
Something is not right. It's so heavy. They're doing front flips over it, and it's not spinning up.
Still looks like we got spin on Tartarus, but not a lot of drive.
Yeah, we got drive on Blue Cheese and spin on Tartarus, and usually you want to have drive if you can only pick one. You're not going to get counted out for your weapon not working, but if you get stuck with your drive not working, that is it. So Blue Cheese here still has a chance.
Uh-oh, you hear that, Adam?
Oh, and Tartarus is down.
That is the sound of a weapon motor spinning, but no blade spinning on Tartarus.
Yeah.
And
That could be a pinion issue. Everything looks connected from what I can see, but if the motor's spinning and the weapon's not, that can just be the pinion. The pulley attachment has come loose and you're spinning the shaft inside of it.
Yeah, it looks like the belt on Blue Cheese. There it goes.
There's Blue Cheese's belt.
Still attached for Tartarus.
Yeah, everything on Tartarus looks whole. Something inside has gone wrong.
They took a really nasty first shot. Almost, if not to the roof.
Yeah, at this point, you got to think Blue Cheese is the favorite. With half of this fight to go, Blue Cheese drive still holding up. Tartarus can barely move, just enough to not get counted out. But with both weapons down, I think it's pretty clear who's winning right now. Tartarus has to hope Blue Cheese's drive goes down.
And for what it's worth, I did see their wheel fall off in the test cage yesterday, so stranger things have happened.
Always possible. You never know what's going to happen. Blue Cheese trying to keep up the attack here. Keep the pressure on. Oh, they got to watch out. That blade's so heavy, they could easily do the thing with it unable to spin. We do have different pin rules now, but if your weapon is down, you are allowed to pin and get some points for it.
I sure do like watching Blue Cheese slam into Tartarus as opposed to just smushing him against the wall.
Yeah, these slams are going to be worth more in the judge's eyes than a slow pin. So as you back up and get these slams in, there's more chance of it doing damage. It's a stronger attack. The judges like to see that.
And this one is going to go to the judges. We have less than 10 seconds left now.
See, something's bouncing around on the side there on Blue Cheese.
Hear a count out.
That's the end of the match. 1.5 minutes of wall slams from Blue Cheese, I think, has solidified that judge's decision for them, and they are showing off here in the prove it period. Oh, we've got nothing out of Tartarus.
Some acrobatics.
So we do see in the end that Blue Cheese's drive does outlast the drive on Tartarus. I don't know if that really comes down to the architecture, although they do have a little bit more reliability with that many wheels, that many bits. One wheel fails on Tartarus, they're down half the drive. That's what happened, and I think that's the difference after both weapons ended up going down. Early in the day here, we're going to see more robots that have these types of reliability issues, but as we get later in the day, I think we'll be seeing a few more end-to-end battles.
Yeah, you think it's kind of like a bell curve. Early in the day, you've got the robots that still have some kinks to shake out. Around the middle of the day, everyone's in peak form, and towards the end.
Well, I think there's two things that are happening here. One is that it takes everyone a little, sometimes a little bit in the day to get into form. Like, oh, right, I got to zip tie that wire. Oops. Then the second thing is if you're not getting your reliability dialed, then you just won't be here at the end of the day.
That's a good point. The unreliable ones.
Who's got it set?
All right, loading into cage one now. Another 12-pound match, it looks like.
Scroll is back today. Nice to see.
Shout out to our man Gil, behind all the stats here at NHRL, fixing the ticker, doing so much on the back end for NHRL. It's a lot of complicated systems that have to come together to get all these matches scheduled and the fights happening when they need to, and everyone needs repair times, and it's a complex beast.
Yeah, there are a lot of bits that go into the scheduling throughout the day and running a tournament here. We've got dozens and dozens of teams across 3 weight classes, and we're showing it all live. And if we're not showing enough live, head over to BrettZone.com. You can see even more fights there.
Yeah, you can choose any cage in the building, any angle from any of those cages, and you can watch stuff live as well. It's a cool website.
If you're ever a competitor here as well, BrettZone is an amazing resource because you can look up not just the fights from today, not just the live shots from today, but pretty much any fight ever that's ever happened here. You can find it on BrettZone.com and watch every angle. So if you're trying to look up, how does your competitor fight, or how did your last fight against them go, or how did their last fight against someone similar to you go, you can look all that up and get prepped for your upcoming fights. So BrettZone.com, a huge resource for fans who just want to watch everything out there. Huge resource for competitors to keep up on their opponents and make sure they come into the fight as strong as possible.
And loaded up now, we've got another team defective 12-pounder in the form of Junkernaut. That's the blue robot there, and they are going up against Modus.
Yeah, so this time we have another kind of similar matchup between robots, although the drive this time is aligned. You got a little bit difference in weapons. You've got a wider beater bar going up against a narrower drum. Beater bars tend to be better at kind of tossing people around, and these narrower discs tend to be better at chunking people, doing a bit more direct damage.
In weapon to weapon,
5,
which do you like more?
3.
I think
2,
I just like a bigger diameter
1.
when I go.
Fight, robots,
That's what I-
fight.
Modus coming in and doing some of that tossing. Junkernaut hitting right back. Junkernaut the favorite here, coming in 7th seed on the day. This might be Modus's first fight ever at NHRL.
And they're tanking some hits here. Staying mobile, weapons still spinning.
Good reliability from both these robots. Both are throwing out the hits and both are still going. You know, mentioned last fight, not the best reliability from either robot here. Good reliability. First minute, it's just back and forth. No one really standing out anyone's fight. Ooh.
Solid shot. Might have done something to the
Yeah.
weapon on Modus, but back up to speed now.
You could hear the power on that hit, and on Junkernaut now, only one side of drive. That's huge. This could be a big upset for Modus.
Right behind the house bot.
Both weapons. I'm not hearing a lot of sound here.
I'm seeing some left side
But-
drive issues on Junkernaut as well.
Okay, now they're back up. Yeah, Junkernaut's definitely lost something on drive. Weapon on Junkernaut working. You can see the gyro, although quiet. Modus back up. Partial speed, not as loud as it was. And his Modus looked a little. They're looking a little bit more disoriented.
Yeah, that front left armor package on Junkernaut seems to be a bit askew. I wonder if that's affecting their drive.
Yeah, it could be an armor issue even more than a drive issue.
Modus no longer spinning. Junkernaut kind of just flailing about in the corner there, trying to get out of their own circle. Spins back up on Modus. Both bots a bit punch drunk.
So see here, this is Tate Mitchell of Modus's first event in 3 years since they were last at NHRL with Voodoo Voo 2. And this is their first event as a driver. So they've been working on this robot for a while. And it's their first robot they've built since working full-time.
Huh.
Came out here from Fort Mitchell, Kentucky. Mechanical engineer who also apparently has an unlimited supply of free Tabasco sauce. That's the builder fact. Does not elaborate on how they got an unlimited supply of free Tabasco sauce.
You got any theories on that one? As they do
No,
the
I mean,
prove
that
it
sounds
period
like a
here.
great prize. I don't, you know.
Yeah. So this is the prove it period where both bots have a small amount of time to show that they can still function at the end of the match, and we see Modus
Still moving around.
moving around well. Junkernaut.
Yeah, I mean, I think this could be an upset for Modus. That would be big for them. Coming in first time in 3 years, going up against the 7th seed for the day.
They looked solid for such a long hiatus.
Yeah.
The design seems modern. Took hits well. Went weapon to weapon. I'm assuming the beater didn't break.
Yeah, they said they basically spent the last 3 years building this robot, getting ready. Can see that pay off in some of the durability, taking those hits early. Maybe enough to get through. We'll see what the judges say.
Well, Adam, I think next up we're going to hop back over to Cage 2 for some 3-pound action. As our cage crew sweeps out the debris from that fight.
Some all right technique. A little chaotic on the sweeping. But he's getting the job done. So this is our JD criteria, the judge's decision criteria. It's into 2 different parts. So there's attack, which is a 5-point max, and the more harm you do to your opponent, the more points you get. Condition, this is the state of your robot. The less damage you are receiving or have at the end of the fight, the more points you get.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. You know, how good does your robot look? If it's looking great, you're gonna max out your points. And how well did you do in the fight? You get more points there. Yeah, it's simplifying it a little bit from how it used to be, and I think it helps. It helps a lot. And when we say harm, you know, harm means a lot of things. Obviously, if you're coming in and you tore apart your opponent, that's going to get you some harm points. But if you put them in a worse position, you flip them over, you get them stuck on the wall, you slam them really hard. Those things are all harm.
Yeah.
It's just putting them in a worse place than where they started. That's how you're gaining attack points.
So it's different from damage.
Yes, different from damage, different from condition, and different from pins. Pins don't necessarily harm anybody. The Prove It period is a new piece we've got, which is a lot of fun. It's basically do a little victory dance kind of style at the end of the fight.
Yeah.
Show your weapon works, show your drive works, do it fun. The judges are going to look at this, we're going to look at this, and it's going to help determine the condition of the robot. Because if you can't show off, it's probably not working too well. So go out, spin around, show you've got both sides of drive, show your weapon still operates, and let the judges know that your robot is still functional.
Oh, wow. Some perhaps cosmetic surgery going on for Brett here.
Yeah, you know, every week I go to the cosmetic surgeon place and I have this done.
Yeah.
Just a little facial ablation. Keeps you looking young.
I'll tell you, those Bretts do get sharp. They take a lot of dings and scratches and dents and chips and...
Yeah, is this more for the human operators who need to, you know, work on this than it is for the protection of the robots?
It might be. Those 3-pound horizontals do a number just below the mouth on Brett there, which seems to be where the grinding was focused.
Good as new. You know, that's kind of a nice looking aesthetic there. It's like almost like an engine turn finish on the front. Nice little brushed pattern. Good reflections. Can make a watch dial out of
that. All right, just Brett's ears getting warmed up. Taking a look in the pits here. What can we see, Adam?
I see a lot of smiles.
Yeah.
Sam, I see a lot of people smiling, a lot of happy faces in the pits today. Every time you come to NHRL, it's like a little reunion. All your friends coming together. You get to say hi to people from around the country who you might not get to see all that often. So you can see everyone walking around to the different pit tables, checking out what'd you bring, how's it doing, how you, maybe getting a little bit of spying in on some opponents coming up, see what's happening. But yeah, I was walking through the pits, and there's a lot of kinetic energy in there today. A lot of big hitters.
All right, here is how the tournament works. We are currently in round 1 for the most part, going into round 2 a little bit. So you start out in the prelims. You get 3 matches. So if you win your first match, you go to the cusp. If you lose, you're in the redemption round. And then depending on what you do in those matches, you either advance with 2 wins or you fight in the bubble to make sure you stay home here, or if you lose, you go home.
Yeah, 2 wins, you're in. 2 losses, you're out. The bubble fights are always my favorite because you have people coming into that who just won out of the redemption, they're on an upswing, and you have people who just lost coming out of the cusp. They thought they were going to advance at 2-0, and they're coming in now. They're a little upset. Who can bounce back from this? You know, who can come into the bubble and win that mental game to get into the tournament? So bubble fights coming up. Those are the fun ones to me. Obviously, the opening matches are great too. You get to see like how are people really coming out of the gate. It's like FP1 in F1. But the bubble, that's where it's really on the line. You see a lot of the mental fortitude come into effect, who can bounce back.
And we're going to get to our bubble round matches for the KO show tonight, or excuse me, at 2 p.m. That's going to start. So if you lose, you go home, and it's that simple once we hit the KO show.
The KO show at 2 p.m. Eastern over on the main NHRL YouTube channel, but stick with us until then.
Because right now, we've got Frank in the cage going up against Downplay. Frank, how would you describe Frank?
Frank is a jumpster who's attempting to suplex you inside of him. I was in the pits earlier when Frank was driving around and unfortunately got the bottom taken off.
Oh, yeah.
And the pits erupted in disappointment when that happened. They were extremely upset. I heard someone yell, "You're a monster," to Frank's opponents.
Poor B-roll.
Yeah, B-roll was destroying the hopes and dreams of everyone in the pit. But I was chatting to the team afterwards, and they said, "No big deal. It wasn't a money loss. Just lost some screws on the bottom plate, but all the internals popped right back in. They got it working again. They fixed one of the forklift forks on the front there, and Frank's good to go." So we'll see if Frank can do any suplexing into that dump truck dumpster-esque backside, because I think we all want to see that, right, Sam?
Yeah, and who would have thunk that Frank has configs? So they're set up to fight horizontals. They look a little different from when they fought B-roll with those real long forks on their lifter. And now they've got a bent titanium wedge on the front as well.
Yeah, everyone is rooting for Frank here, but they do have an opponent in Downplay who's got a nasty looking little undercutter here. It's their first event. They're coming into this fight at 0-1. Frank, 3 events, 1-5. So anyone who wins here, I think, is going to be really excited about it.
This is Downplay's first event here at NHRL.
Yeah. 2, 1.
Fight, robots, fight.
Your first win at NHRL is always a big deal.
Frank starting out in a tarantula-style threat posture, arms up, wedge facing forward. But it looks like that first hit might have separated it on the left side a bit there.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Frank at this point. They are not moving. And I think maybe the undercutter did some undercutting.
Oh, yeah, the flashing lights are off on Frank. Eyes are looking a bit lifeless.
Look at that carbon fiber little dump truck area in the back there. Good shot here of the materials. The 3D printed frame with the carbon fiber. Yeah, I'm going to assume that's a carbon fiber pre-preg unibody dump truck back there.
I think it might be self-reinforced polypropylene.
But Downplay trying to get him started again, trying to be a good sport. Come back to life, Frank. It's not going to happen. Here's the count out. Downplay is going to get their first win at NHRL. The Temple Robotics University Combat Group here taking home their first win with Downplay. That's got to feel nice. And unfortunately, I think that is Frank's. That's the end of Frank's day. That's 2 losses for them.
Yep. No bubble for Frank.
I think that was that was the cusp, not cusp.
Redemption?
Redemption. Is that right? Yes, that was a redemption fight, and Downplay has redeemed themselves to 1-1 and will be going to the bubble. Frank will be going home, maybe in a larger dumpster.
Maybe not home, though. Frank and Tom, they now have the opportunity to hop into the XP tournament, which is like an on-ramp for new builders. It's a side tournament that we run here at NHRL, and it's for folks that maybe it's their very first time competing ever. Maybe they have an experimental robot that they want to get the kinks worked out of. Or maybe they just went 0-2 in the main tournament. They have an option to try again. Tom examining the damage on the bottom of Frank, trying to figure out what shut everything off.
Hey, there are a lot of wires down there on top of the base plate. If it snuck in between the base plate and side there, it could have unplugged anything. Unfortunate. If you'd like to see more of Frank's fights, Frank's past fights and past configurations, you can go to brettzone.com and look up plenty of Frank fights.
You can sort the videos there by robot, by tournament. That's about it, but that's about all you need, really.
The pits are probably a little bit less happy now.
Yeah, poor Frank.
Builder fact for Tom Farkas listed here is he really enjoys potatoes. Yeah.
That's good info. That's the stuff the audience is hungry to find out about.
Yeah, you mentioned XP before. XP is a new thing this year for new builders, and it's a way to be able to get into the lottery for our open tournament. So if you sign up for an open and we're not full, you can be in an open for your first fight, your first event if you want. But if the tournament fills up, then anyone who hasn't been to an NHRL event before can't get in the lottery. You got to have been at an event to enter the lottery, and XP allows you to come to an event so that you can then enter future lotteries. So you build up XP points fighting in XP to be able to enter those lotteries. But if the open isn't full, you can swing on by and enter it even if it's your first event. But sometimes we get a lot of signups, and we want to make sure that experienced competitors get a chance to come. And if you're building a new robot, trying it out, you can come swing by the XP tournament for your first one. It's a little bit lower stakes, and if you lose quick enough, you can sometimes swing into the XP tournament from the open if you want to keep your day going. We also have R&D, Research and Destruction, which isn't a tournament, but just a way to get in some grudge fights, development fights as well if your day ended early, or if you just want to swing by and get some practice in.
5,
Another thing you
4,
can do. Chainsaw
3,
Kitty
2,
coming up
1.
against King
Fight,
Snake.
robots,
Joined
fight.
just in time.
Oh, this is what you expect out of the number 2 seed. Absolute destruction. Ricky, great fight to join on.
Yeah, immediate aggression, immediate violence. Look at the side armor just being torn off of King Snake. It's just dangling off the right-hand side. Now it's dangling off the left-hand side. Wheels are going flying.
Oh,
and a tap out.
That was fast.
That is one of the most efficient dismantlings I have seen today. Do we expect anything less from KaZaA at this point?
Both robots are coming into that fight 1-0. KaZaA is going to punch her ticket to the tournament at 2-0. And we're going to have to see Ben Gerhardt again with King Snake. I'd say they're going to drop down into a bubble fight at 1-1. This they're sitting in at that was the number 2 seed, Chainsaw Kitty, number 42 seed in King Snake. Ouch.
Yeah, I wasn't able to catch the earlier fight from King Snake, but it does not look like a robot to sneeze at by any means. It's just tough when you get thrown in there with the number 2 seed. Really torture test, so to speak, of your robot's durability and your driving, for that matter.
Chainsaw Kitty's record 47-17 overall. They have a lot of NHRL fights under their belt. This is Ben Gerhardt's first NHRL event. They have fought a lot at different events around the country coming into here. So welcome to NHRL.
Welcome to the big leagues.
Welcome to the big leagues. KaZaA showing the level of competition here to make it deep into the tournament. Wow.
Yeah, incredibly efficient. Just demolition of that opponent. And, you know, keeping our cage cleaners busy. I would say Chainsaw Kitty is one of the most reliable mess makers that we have here at NHRL. Either robot parts, bits of floor, bits of arena walls sometimes going flying. It bounces around a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of cleanup after one of these fights.
Well, we have a lot of good fights still coming. We're going to spend a little time in the 3-pound bracket. Trick or Beater coming up soon. That's a fun one I haven't seen in a while. I'm eager to see it back. Singularity is going to be up later. That's a really neat robot.
They've got counter spinning ring spinners.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a really complex and unique, but when it works,
and
really
it's
effective design.
One of those ideas that you see posited a lot online.
Yes.
You know, why doesn't this horizontal spinner have a counter rotating horizontal spinner? Well, we're going to see how that works, and it's great to see those things play out in the arena. You're going to get spin up without a torque reaction, which is great, but you're going to lose the stability of the gyroscopic effect.
Right. But you may also gain a level of controllability.
Yeah.
It's not just the spin-up stability, right? It's very predictable driving.
Yes.
While up to speed. And that can be a huge advantage if you can take advantage of it and if it's reliable and et cetera, et cetera. So one of the things that I think is really great about these earlier fights in the day is you get to see these really unique robots come out and play, test what they've got. Some of the robots that are up and coming or maybe just coming here for the first time. Those are some of the most interesting fights we have in our day. Maybe not the most exciting fights sometimes. Maybe sometimes they are. Don't get me wrong. There's some real banger fights too. But these robots that are kind of unique or trying something for the first time, this is the best time to see it, if you ask me.
Yeah, these early in the day fights are great to see early stage ideas that sometimes don't make it into the end of the day, but might be a sign of things that are happening that will be there later. The arena is great for practice.
There is no better practice,
Yeah.
quite frankly. I mean, between, I think you were speaking earlier about our R&D league and our XP league, but these sort of on-ramps that we have for teams, maybe for you if you're listening at home and want to compete, these are really, there's no substitute for experience inside of the arena, be that here or at another competition.
Yeah, and you build that up fighting. There's nothing wrong with coming here and going 0-2 on the day. You learn, you come back stronger, and that's how we all start, really.
Yeah, we don't need to worry probably about an 0-2 record with this next competitor. We've got Lars Elliott entering into the arena, recently podiumed in 3 different weight classes at another event. So he's coming hot off a boatload of success. You know he's going to want to keep that rolling at this event, and I think everyone has full confidence in his ability to do so. He's going up against Polish Hammer, which I've seen
5,
incredible
4,
t-shirt game for today.
3,
That's really all I can say.
2, 1.
Fight.
Away we go.
Robots
Quick
fight.
spin up from Polish Hammer. And
Oh!
punishing first hit for Impact. And 2 and 3. And this is what we've seen so much from Lars. He chains those hits, and the damage just stacks up in a heartbeat. Oh, and Polish Hammer is on its nose, doing the thing. Can it get unstuck, or will it have to go for an unstick? It's trying. This looks to me like, whoa, as soon as the unstick is called, Lars just smacks it, Polish Hammer right back into the ceiling. A glancing blow and then a roof shot and just juggling. The stability that you see in Impact is really stunning. When an opponent is spending so much time in the air and you are able to drive in such a way that your robot stays planted to the floor like we're seeing right now, it really shows off some skill and control.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at the seed here, number 3 going up against number 38, and wow, is that showing. You get a lot of these types of matchups early in the day where it is a high and a low seed going at it, and ooh, this is why we do have those XP and R&D leagues, so you can get ready for this. But like you said, there is no better way to test your robot than going up against the best in the arena and seeing what breaks. Polish Hammer, I think, is going to be learning a lot here, but wow, is Impact showing why they have that number 3 seed today.
That drive, though, on Polish Hammer, holding up incredibly well. They are certainly fighting tooth and nail to stay in this.
Yeah, they are not giving up.
Oh, and their hat.
Oh. And,
look.
Yeah, power to him. It is not easy to take these hits and keep going.
No. This is admirable work just to stay in it this long as we come into the final minute of the match.
2 minutes of just getting hit.
And a tap out. As soon as that drive gave up the ghost, so did Polish Hammer.
Two-thirds of the way there on the drive reliability for Polish Hammer. Honestly, I think if you can take that many hits, you probably are there. You just got to keep your weapon running a little longer.
There's a different aspect of get good beyond reliability that comes into play at that point. I do want to call something out we saw in that match. You notice we've clarified the rules here a little bit. Brett the Brick, our wonderful house bot, will move to get out of the way if you are hung up on it. That is not an unstick. That isn't anything like a pause. There's no penalty for that. If your robot gets hung up on the house bot will move to allow you to continue in the match without incurring an unstick penalty. Or I shouldn't say penalty, but without requiring an unstick to be spent. This clarifies things a little bit. The house bot's point, right, in the match is to help a match continue. It should never be impeding a match. And so it getting out of the way when it comes into play incidentally just kind of becomes more intuitive for how the house bot
the house robot's intended to be neutral unless you request it for 20 seconds for an unstick attempt, and then it's basically on your team for 20 seconds to help you out. But yeah, it's not really neutral if it doesn't get out of the way when you're stuck on it, so just clarifying those neutrality rules is good going forward. And you can see the face on Brett really shiny after that little facial earlier today, got ground down, good reflections.
Yeah, nice
looking sleek.
Spit and polish.
Yeah.
See, we got a rollout of several judges' decisions. Carolina Reaper coming in, Stormsurge. Of course, if you missed any of these fights and you want to go back and check them out, we really encourage you to check out Brett Zone. That is our, frankly, amazing tool. It shows every camera angle in the building, practically, certainly every camera angle in the cages. You can go back and watch any fight you want. Download it, remix it, make a TikTok, whatever it is that you want to do. Or it becomes a huge tool for training purposes.
Yeah.
If you want to go back and figure out what you did wrong, your competitor. Or maybe if you're scoping out who you're going to be fighting.
It's huge to rewatch your previous fights. It's huge to rewatch your opponent's fights. If you know any other sport out there, watching tape is a gigantic part of prep and review from previous outings, and it is amazing to be able to have that here at NHRL. Go back and watch your fights, see what you did wrong, see what you did right, and see what your opponents do against similar robots to yours before you fight them. Amazing tool to make use of here to improve your driving, which is one of the 3 big aspects of the sport. Sometimes is forgotten about when you're in the CAD land doing your design. But design and manufacturing of the robot is one. Running it at the competition in the pits, making sure that you can repair it, keep it going is another. And then when you're in the box, that's the third. That's where your driving really starts to pay off. So you do your design ahead of time, you do your repair in the pits, and then you do your driving in the arena, 3 different time spans.
and really, each of them gives you such a different set of experiences with your robot. None of them are interchangeable for one another.
It's interesting where the sport is now. If you want to liken it to F1, it's as if the drivers were also the pit crew and the designers back at the factory. And sometimes also the manufacturing engineers do.
The olden days of NASCAR, if you will.
Yeah.
You know? It's It's really interesting. Makes you really wonder where the sport is going to be headed in the next few years. We've seen this growth of the team aspect in combat robotics, where more often we're seeing driving coaches, which is a really interesting thing that's popped up in the last few years.
Definitely seeing more specialization on the larger teams, likening to these other sports, F1, NASCAR, other auto sports, where you have the people who concentrate on the design, the people who concentrate on being pit crew, and the people who concentrate on drive. And you can see how those larger teams are starting to take advantage of that. Some of the teams are even building test boxes, and that is huge.
It's a huge
advantage.
Some of them are setting up their own arenas for competitions just for the sake of getting more practice locally. It's worth them having an entire competition that they run and staff just for the extra driving practice that affords them, which is incredible. And, I think back to my race car days, and one of the things, especially in the amateur race car world, is that there is still that opportunity. A lot of people hang on to this idea that I'm going to be the person who works on the car most is entitled to drive it. And of course, that's a thing you could do, but it's the first thing when you get to any level of seriousness to say, like, listen, if you want to be a serious competitor here, pick the person who can drive the best. And that may be the person who is most passionate about the team, but it could be just someone who has a natural talent for it. And if success and professionalism and that sort of thing is your top priority, you should lean into that.
When you look at the top levels of motorsport, the best drivers usually don't have engineering degrees.
No.
It tends to be a slightly different track to get there. But great time at NHRL where you can do it all still and be very competitive here. Really interesting robots here, talking about build and design. So much effort has gone into the design of Project Liftoff to bring it here and be able to compete at this level. Really kind of proved that melty brains can work.
Yeah, and I don't know if we covered this earlier, but for those of you that are maybe joining for your first NHRL or for the first in a while, these melty brain robots are some of the most intelligent robots here. As far as advanced computing goes, these have some really fun software that basically allow the robot to have an understanding of where it is in 3D space and use tiny modulations, tiny alterations to when it's spinning its two drive motors to affect movement in the arena, despite the fact that it's spinning around at the same time. And to put that very cleanly and succinctly, you can spin in a circle and make tiny changes to how fast you're moving in the circle to change your direction.
Without the software controlling it, you wouldn't be able to drive this robot. It's in a way, it's similar to a modern fighter plane. Like, if you turned off the kind of stability control, the plane would crash, right? Same thing here. Like, you cannot make this robot translate if you don't have the software helping you out.
Yeah, this is changing directions hundreds to thousands of times per second in order to navigate the arena. And it's doing those changes not by, 100% or reversing directions, but by like tiny increments that are physically impossible for humans, at least at the speed required to make it competitive. And this is where KaZaA and Project This is where Project Liftoff has really taken it to the next level. Is it was possible to do this manually, slowly. But doing it slowly automatically means that it's not going to do very well. You need to spin fast to be able to hit hard.
It looks like Blink may be having some power issues here, doing a power cycle after I think they thought they turned it on. Blink coming in at 22nd seed today, 19 for Project Liftoff. So Project Liftoff's been to 22 events, dialing in that Melty Brain spinner. This is the 7th event for Blink. So a lot more experience on the Project Liftoff side for the robot. Blink coming in, though, from Team WPI, one of the larger teams that we've been talking about. And I think they're trying to make the turn here. You know, they're coming in to this fight at 10 and 12, so under 500.
You know, speaking of making turns, I'm getting word we had a major upset just now.
Oh.
So for those of you that were watching earlier, we had a fight between The Wall Part 2 and Grond. And, of course, The Wall Part 2, really highly ranked, a heavy favorite.
Number 1 overall.
Number 1 seed. Just got unseeded by Grond.
Wow.
Grond is moving on to the bracket now.
The Wall's going to have to fight again.
Yeah, the Wall's, they're not out. The Wall could come back, but the Wall has not been having their day. They had a major battery fire before they even got into the arena today. It was just bad luck. It wasn't anything going wrong. Someone hit the wrong thing at the wrong moment, and up she went.
I think that sounds like something going wrong to me. I don't know, but
it wasn't a.
It's not good. That's wow. You know, the Wall going to the bubble. The Wall might not make the tournament. That is a story that we're going to have to follow. We're going to make sure that bubble fight makes it to air. That is something to see. Congratulations to Grond. What was Grond's seed?
I don't know off the top of my head. It's a good question. Not highly rated by comparison. Oh, interesting.
Ooh.
Looks like Blink has just forfeited. What a shame, too, because this would have been a really
This would have been a great
interesting
fight.
match.
Vertical disc, big anti-horizontal plow going up against the most powerful horizontal spinner in the class. 100% of the weight spinning so fast would have been great to see. But, you know, that's probably why you see Blink sitting a little bit under 500. It's a nasty-looking robot, but got to get that reliability dialed in.
Blink, I think, is one of those robots that tried to design a lot of aspects to 10/10ths, and when you do that, rather than when you jump to that immediately, rather than working your way up, you tend to chase these gremlins because you've pushed things to their limit. Well, we will see with Blink forfeiting. That's a nice, easy win, or easy. Well, win is as good a word as any, but Project Liftoff gets a nice pass into the next round. Oh, this is going to be fun.
So if anyone wants to see that big upset from the Wall, again, you can go check that out at bretzone.com.
Yeah, we will take a look. I am eager, though. We've got another fight coming up. Very excited about. Sea Dragon's Roar is going to be up soon, and they will be going up against Titanium Hwhite. I have seen some really incredible stickers around the building lately from Titanium Hwhite. Just Bob Rossing every which way. It's a fireball with Bob Ross's head in the center of it. Really enjoy that.
And just a great spelling, you know?
Yeah. Oh, the clock has started on Titanium Hwhite. 3 minutes and 24 seconds, so someone is...
Well, I think that's just letting us know when it's going to happen, right? That's just...
Yeah, sometimes. But sometimes when that comes up, it's because someone is up against their time.
I am hearing they're in fire safety. So,
excellent. Okay.
Should be fine.
Yeah, and for those that may not know, right, in order to do this legally, safely, everything else, before each and every fight, they get a quick check-off from local officials and from our own staff here. And so that that's another step they basically have to go through. So we get plenty of extra warning. In this case, that's probably why we've got the timer up. We know how long it's going to take, roughly. So I'm glad to hear that. Titanium Hwhite is a robot that uses a flame strategy that is very different than most of the robots. We usually see these kind of billowy, large orange fireballs. And that puts on a great show, and it's kind of the equivalent of a shotgun in a video game. You know, it's a big spread shot. The whole area in front of you gets hit. Titanium Hwhite takes a different approach. They have a torch. They have a pinpoint flame that burns extremely hot. They're like a short-range sniper rifle on a robot. and they have to line up their shot much better. But if they line up that shot, they can melt through pretty much anything in the arena. Like, they can melt through pieces of steel or pieces of titanium because they have that pinpoint concentrated flame in ways that other robots can't.
Yeah, it's quite hot.
Yeah, that sums it up very.
It's white hot.
White hot?
White hot. There they are, getting dropped in.
Excellent.
Nice looking little forks there on the front of Titanium White. Now, I was talking to Sea Dragon's team, and they have a lot of different setups on the front of Sea Dragon.
Yeah, this is a very different Sea Dragon than what we've seen in recent memory.
Yeah.
I'm not used to seeing an exposed, unfinished metallic surface on
So
Sea Dragon.
they basically said, you know, if this doesn't work, it's getting a total redesign, or they might go to a different robot. This is like kind of the last attempt to get this robot past the top 22. They've been hitting a wall, top 32, hitting a wall around 32. They want to get late into the day, and this is an attempt to do so. They've got 5 different configs today. 3 new ones are, I believe this is Reach. So this is to enable them to reach far ahead. So because the weapon's on a hinge, they can kind of just put a longer pivot. So this is get the weapon farther out ahead, and enabling them to try and reach the chassis of these ranged attack robots. I think they said this was originally intended for hammer saws, but it's a similar vibe against the Flame of Throw here, where they're going to keep these keep-away forks. You can see them there on Titanium White that hold you at a distance. You run a normal vert, you're not going to reach. But with this longer one, they can get inside those forks and hit the chassis.
Now, these sort of configurations become really, really critical strategy elements. Because I'm looking at this setup on Sea Dragon's War. They would never be able to use this against, say, a horizontal spin. It would be a terrible setup.
Totally different setup for that.
But in this case, against a flame robot, this could be incredible.
They did a lot of spreadsheets to verify they were under, the 50% rule we have here for maintaining weight between configs.
We'll see how it works. Titanium White off to a very fast start and immediately skewered by Sea Dragon's Roar. I think those two are entangled.
Yeah, it looks like they're just stuck in that, I guess, the TPU printed Bob Ross head.
Yeah, they directly pierced Bob Ross's head. I don't think the estate of Bob Ross is going to be happy about that. They're going to try to do a little bit of an unstick with the house robot, but I think this is a futile effort.
Yeah, might require a crowbar here, the engineering crowbar.
I think a careful application.
Have they removed the Bob Ross head?
No, they've restyled it.
Oh, okay.
So you can see there on the fireball that is Bob Ross's head, that same thing I was talking about earlier, that is now embossed into the side of Titanium White.
The engineering crowbar has done its job. Very precise tool.
Absolutely, and carefully wielded to boot. Now, we do limit the number of times that can come into play, so if that continues to be an issue in this match, that could result in this going to the judges. Hopefully we won't see that.
And if it does happen again in the same way, you can perhaps get in trouble for an entanglement.
True. All right, so far, though, big hits from Sea Dragon's Roar.
Yeah, that reach config working pretty well.
Oh, look at that articulated weapon working exactly as designed.
Yeah, getting in there, getting between the forks. And I was going to say the flames aren't working, but there's some flames.
Oh, but look, the flames are completely quashing the area from which the fire is supposed to come.
Yes, the fire going all inside of the robot at that point.
Not what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that armor package is practically a weapon lock.
Yeah.
Ooh, big hit. And
Titanium sparks there going flying. Wow. So Sea Dragon coming in 9th seed here. Titanium White 32. So, stats-wise, Sea Dragon's fight to lose, but Titanium White always a danger with that fire, and not able to bring it to bear yet. We are about halfway through this fight.
Yeah, we've seen barely any attack with that flamethrower.
And this is Sea Dragon's fight so far as they keep sending Titanium White flying.
Oh, there's a bit of fire underneath. It's difficult to see, but it is torching.
Yeah, and that can build up.
And
you can see that hot blue flame trying to get into any crack it can. Oh, and we've got another entanglement.
Now, notice this is a very different cause of the entanglement. This is Forks entangled. Oh, and they freed each other. All right.
Free.
And this comes down to our tournament stewards. They'll review this later and say, well, was this a predictable design outcome that seems like an abuse of rules, or was this, you know, just happenstance?
Yeah, these look like TPU forks to me, and TPU is bendy. It'll do that sometimes.
Now, look, the flame is very subtle in terms of how visible it is because of the way Sea Dragon's Roar's weapon is coming down, but it is flaming right now.
And the arena's very quiet. I think the weapon is down on Sea Dragon.
At the very least, it is... Yeah, it is down. I was going to say at the very least it's jammed up, but it could just be disabled.
And if you get heat like this in that weapon, it can do tons of unseen damage. They've got heat tape there trying to deflect it. They've got a totally shrouded weapon system. But if it gets too hot, you can have bushings mar and seize up. You can have belts get a little bit too big and slip. You can just have your ESC, which is running on the edge, get a few degrees too hot and thermal shutdown.
Sometimes that's all it takes. And look, that weapon assembly kind of acts as a duct. That is going to carry heat deep into the center of your robot if you're not careful.
Yeah, if they can get the flame in the right, so you can see it building up. There's a red jar growing. It looks like they're lighting the flame-proof tape on fire.
Yeah, this is one of those moments where a thermal camera could really come in handy, but they are torching, and it is getting hot in there. And look, a little bit of smoke coming off discolored front armor on Sea Dragon's Roar. This is going to be going to the judges, but I gotta say, Titanium White really pulled it together in the last minute.
The first half of that fight was all Sea Dragon, and the second half was all Titanium White. The judges are going to have to think about this one, but when it comes down to it, the second half of the fight is what you're going to be going back to the booth thinking about. And you've got a down weapon. You've got Drive looking a little bit iffy. You're stuck up on the wall. And Titanium White drives right back to the door with the weapon working. You got to think they're feeling good.
Yeah.
What a comeback.
Yep. It's, I mean, honestly, if you just look at the damage aspect of this, or I should say the condition, now that is our word for that particular judging criteria, that is enough to seal the deal for me.
Yeah. They lost a little bit of the armor. They lost a fork, but the drive, the weapon, and 100%, I think that's going to swing it.
I would think so, but we'll have to wait for official word. While we wait,
look who is in the arena. We've got MegatRON, two-time 30-pound world champ, back for the first time since champs. I was talking to Jameson earlier in the pits. I said, what's new? He said, well, I fixed it. Not much else. He said that, you know, we talk a lot about this. You design the robot to be in the arena for 3 minutes. That's all it needs to do, right? You design a reliable robot, and parts are in the arena for 3 minutes, 3 minutes more, 3 minutes more, 3 minutes more. When is the point at which the part needs to be replaced? And it turned out that the motor that was in MegatRON at December had just been in there a bit too long. So nice new motors are in the robot this time, and a lot of work is being done to figure out why are the motors failing, how are they failing. But we know that it takes a while for them to fail, and so I don't think we're going to be seeing any motor failures today for MegatRON. We're just going to see a nice, consistent one that we're used to. So a lot of changes planned for this year, but this is a data gathering event with 100% rebuilt version of MegatRON from 2025. maccabot, however, looks to be having some reliability issues.
Yeah, they are power cycling. Cage side, not usually a good sign, but sometimes it really is just a gremlin, and it's resolved very quickly. We're going to have to see if that's the case this time around. I heard them listening, and okay, it is moving. Yeah. That is certainly a start, and the weapon is spinning, so it could just be one of those glitches that catches you cage side.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's as simple as just a bit of dirt or sawdust or what have you getting in that switch.
maccabot hits hard, but has to take kind of that next step to be really, really good in the top tier. They are coming in 5th seed today at 6-6 overall. MegatRON 41-10.
Robots fight.
Ooh, glancing right off the top like a ski jump.
Jameson is well known for his ground game, really dialing that in.
Oh,
and
that is
what
a massive, massive gouge.
Jameson aggressive today. He'll often give you a second or two to kind of tap out before he swings at the base plate. Not here,
No, not
today.
today. That is a huge amount of penetration. I see belts missing.
And I'm not seeing much movement.
That is stunning. maccabot is barely moving at all now.
They're a bristlebot at this point, maybe.
The right-hand drive side is spinning.
Yep.
But they've been damaged on the underside so hard.
They don't want to give up. Anything can happen when you're in the arena. MegatRON wants to come in for some more. I don't think they want to come in right on that spinning weapon. They got to line this up.
And they don't have to. Jameson can bide his time and really pick and choose his shots when you've got a weapon or you have an opponent that is this disabled.
Oh, and there it is, getting around behind, spinning up,
and
coming
look,
down.
dodging the armor plate on the top of maccabot.
Embedded in the left side drive.
That's practically coming out the other
Looks
end.
like TPU armor on maccabot's top. That is a thick 3D printed side or top panel, and they are embedded. How deep do you think MegatRON is
I
in
think
that?
probably inch and a half.
Yeah. It does seem to me like I don't think there's a lot under that panel in that spot. If I'm guessing, that's probably covering what would be a belt. It's holding on the side armor. And so I don't know if there's juicy guts there, but there's a lot to get stuck on. TPU can really grab you. This is similar to what happened in the last fight where we had that TPU side of Titanium Hwhite grabbing onto the disc.
Well, it's interesting, too. This is actually a great shot. You can see the bevel gear on the side of MegatRON's weapon, of their spinner. That makes it particularly vulnerable for pieces of squishy plastic like TPU to get sucked in. It only takes a little bit to jam up a metal gear like that.
While that is true, I don't even know. I don't think that's. I think they're just stuck.
I think it's a combination of both here. I think when you... There's no hope of wiggling loose if your gear is stuck in addition to your weapon being embedded in your opponent. But look at this. What am I talking about? That is
engineering
such...
crowbar coming out, very precise.
That is such just a deep hit. And you can see here, these kind of flares on what is now the right-hand side of the spinning, those are there mostly for show. Those aren't usually meant to be the impacting
that's basically the counterweight.
Right. And it's a artistically designed counterweight, but it does make it more likely to get embedded.
Yeah. And we'll see this fight keep going. We'll see if maccabot can keep moving after that one. I think it was the other side of drive that was still operational. JMO does a lot of design here on the weapon. He changes it up a lot. He's gone through belts. He's gone through hub motor design. This is a bevel motor. I wonder if we'll see a different method of weapon later this season.
Hard to say for sure, but take a look at maccabot. It is moving, but it is definitely still down a drive side.
Yeah, JMO trying to come in on the right side, deliver that killer blow. Oh, coming down right on the front wheel. maccabot seems to be down to just one, just that rear wheel. Here comes JMO trying to take it out.
One at a time. Treat it like a checklist.
They're tapping out. JMO was lining that back up to shoot right at that back right wheel. Smoke coming out of maccabot.
Look at those gouges.
Whew. We say sometimes the best armor is air. That big TPU with those big gouges can be useful if you can make it thick enough that the kind of weapon hub or that gear on MegatRON gets stuck before the tooth hits your insides. That can be great, but you know, you're asking a lot. Look how much bite there is on that tooth of MegatRON. Yeah. And I think JMO got enough of the insides there. He's going to be moving on. maccabot is going to have some repairs to do. One side of drive down, weapon down, smoke coming out, armor gouged.
Really impressive amount of damage. And despite that amount of damage, it's all surgical, right? It was not a situation where it was hit any which way. Each one of those shots was a hand-picked shot.
You saw JMO lining it up, and when he had the shot, he took it. No waiting, no messing around, and he didn't take any risky shots at the weapon. Just control, what you expect to see from a two-time world champion. Those treads on the back really getting dialed in, giving him that maneuverability that wheels sometimes wouldn't.
It's really interesting to see because so often treads on robots are a bit of a gimmick.
Yeah.
You know, a gimmick might be a little excessive.
I think historically, they didn't necessarily give you a big advantage.
Right.
Most people thought that the huge advantage would be, you know, traction. I don't think it's necessarily that it's giving you more pushing force, but it's giving you more control, more maneuverability. And tends to be what the help is these days.
And it's a tiered system, right? Let's say you get it so that it does give you more maneuverability. Then you have to make sure that it has the reliability aspect to make that maneuverability worth it.
Yeah, because it's big catch-22. You get the maneuverability when they're there, they pop off, you can't move.
Right, and so often you might have one or the other, but not both.
Yeah.
And what we see from MegatRON is that it does accomplish both, and that is what makes it so impressive.
We did see sometimes last year it was having issues with the treads coming off, and that's like getting kind of stuck around the rollers. It's an issue that everyone running treads has to dial in. You'll see a lot of people running treads now in addition to cleats on the drive wheels.
Which is just such an interesting combination. They almost seem counterintuitive to see on the same robot.
And then the thing with cleats is that they're also a little bit of a trade-off because they become, in their own way, fragile. They can bend and get stuck.
Well, one of the things I think with cleats that gets so under-realized is that it increases the reactive force in your robot. So if you have cleats and you get hit by someone else, oh shoot, you're glued to the floor. You know, with wheels, you just slide away, but if you're practically nailed to the floor and you get hit, that means you are going to get hit harder. And so you need to build your robot to this level of durability that an uncleated robot doesn't need to achieve. So all that to say, every design choice you make has repercussions. Some of those are going to be good, some of them are going to be bad. You need to make the decision as a designer, as a driver, are these compromises and advantages worth it? And it's always interesting to see different drivers have different approaches to that. And as looping this all back to Jameson, he's done a good job making those treads worth it. He's experimented a lot, and it seems like he has made a good cost-benefit analysis in this case. Okay, this is gonna be fun. KaZaA Eins will be going up against Ares in Cage 1. Ares is one of our most destructive robots ever. This is a massive, massive kinetic energy weapon that is just front to back dialed in. And of course, KaZaA, the most successful flamethrowing robot of all time in any weight class, in any country. An absolute tank with an incredible flamethrower. So what will happen? I truly have no idea.
I had interesting talks with both these teams today. Ares, not a lot of changes. They've kind of improved their repairability in the pits. They've got a new weapon operator here. You can see with the pink hair, he'll be operating the weapon. A lot of changes, on the other hand, for KaZaA. They're only running that 1/2, right? Not the whole thing. But what's interesting is they aren't even really running at the full weight class in terms of armor. They're still running plastic armor on top.
It's
because they like it.
Yeah. Some advantages to it. So far the control.
That's what we like to see out of KaZaA.
The control on KaZaA so far very impressive. Not able. Ares not able to get a good hit yet.
Running away here.
You never see that from Ares.
Line up a hit. They are having trouble going to front to front. The ground game is not going Ares' way here, and that's going to make it really difficult for them if KaZaA just needs to stay pointed.
Ooh, there's a good flip.
Oh, and now KaZaA upside down, no flames. Big opportunity, big hit.
Somersaults and fireballs are two of my favorite things. And now Ares is upside down. Wild fight so far.
Not hearing a lot here. Ares maybe spun down, trying to get some maneuverability here, trying to line
Still
up.
spinning, but definitely slower than we usually see it. They're on the defensive.
Yeah, I have to think that they've dialed it down to get some hits in instead of the, too much gyro, you have a hard time driving.
There's an excellent bit of control from KaZaA. A bit of torching on the tail end of Ares. As Ares' weapon slowly chews into the top of KaZaA. And whoa, our camera is gone!
What happened?
I think we just exploded that iPhone, Adam. Look at that torching. The flame coming out of KaZaA, so powerful.
And we've got to tick one off on the Ares hat counter for the day. Ares well known for becoming a hat. Wow. I'm just stunned by the driving out of KaZaA right now.
Yeah,
1 minute
Joshua
left in
doing
this fight.
incredible. And look at this barbecue. That is controlled flame, but it is so directed at the underside of Ares.
Ares going to have to use their unstick there. You can see it going down from 1 to 0 underneath their name there on the top. They don't have an unstick left, and the judges are going to see that. That's not going to help.
That is so much steel on the front of KaZaA. Even when Ares is able to connect, it's just a thud of steel on steel.
Yeah, because KaZaA has gone flying a few times, but I mean, look at this. Ares upside down again, unable to bring that weapon to bear. Their forks are now turned underneath.
This is also
KaZaA is just having a field day.
It really is. This is an excellent application, too, of that flame. Oh, one of the forks is up on KaZaA Light. That's going to put, and it's gone now.
Oh, so that, I mean, that's going to affect their condition, but the drive and weapon are just 100%.
Oh, and another fork is gone. 3 forks is gone. Ares has ripped one of the bolts holding the forks, and that is the end of the fight. Woo!
I mean,
wow.
Ares has to be happy they got some of that hidden at the end there, but look at this.
I see. This is the prove it period. KaZaA trying to show off its functionality. Ares trying to show off its functionality at the end of this fight. Ares kind of struggling to do so.
Ares struggling to move at all. Their back wheels are destroyed. Look at that. They are destroyed. They're spinning, they're not doing anything. The weapon not spinning up right now. I don't know if it can't. That would really hurt them. Yeah, I am not seeing that weapon move. That would be a huge swing in condition score if that weapon is down. KaZaA had some maneuverability issues at the end there too. That was surprising to see. They were doing a little bit of crab walking. But I have to think that KaZaA is going to take that one. That would be a huge upset. Ares, the #1 seed, coming in, trying to get some revenge after a poor December tournament for their standards. That is not going to be a fun start for them.
No, and it has been really interesting seeing
and KaZaA
this road they've had to take.
KaZaA coming in has only half of the robot.
Well, let's take this back. This is KaZaA Eins. This is a new robot by our standards. So it shares a lot of components with KaZaA Light, but this is a full weight robot. This is a 30-pound robot. It's got a different amount of fuel in it. It obviously is not a multi-bot. It has a different configuration for its armor and fork package. And it is ranked differently. So we've got KaZaA Light, a very similar robot, is top of our ranking list right now. And KaZaA Eins coming in and experimenting with whether or not a single robot version can compete the way that KaZaA Light does.
But it's still mostly like you lost to one. Yes, you lost to 1/2 with more forks on it, a little more armor on it, but you got to come in. You're facing 1/2 of a robot. You got to think that you'll do better than that coming in as #1 seed.
It's a good question. I think they are treating this much more like a fresh start, and less of half of a robot and more is just a different direction to go with the archetype. I would love to get some interview time with Joshua later in the pits, see how this is working out for him, because I know he was
working out great.
That's true. Yeah. I should say, is it working out the way he expected, or is it? Does it feel more like a compromise?
Mm-hmm.
Does it feel more like half a robot, or does it feel like it can be operated?
Yeah, because I don't mean to take anything away from them. I just mean, like, if you were building one from the ground up, you would probably build a different chassis. As far as I know, this is the same chassis.
So this is an interesting bit of lore here. KaZaA was originally a single chassis robot. Then they doubled it by losing weight. Now KaZaA Eins comes back as a single robot, giving that weight back. So it's come full circle through this process. And I don't know if KaZaA Light felt like running two lightweight versions of the full-size robot, or if it felt like this is the ultimate form. Great question. Look at this great crowd we have. Some excited folks. People realizing they're on camera.
Yeah, well, when KaZaA is running flames, no matter how many bots it has in the arena, it is nigh unstoppable. And we will see if anyone can take him out. The fans are loving it.
The energy in the house just turns electric when there are flames in the cage. And the smiles it gives. I was told earlier we had a young, I don't know what age, but a young spectator go, I didn't know robots could do that. And that's the kind of thing that really puts a smile on everyone's face here. A place for kids of all ages, I like to say. Oh, Cage 1 is ready to go again. What do you have to say about this one, Adam?
Keeping it in the 30s. This is a big hitting fight. You know, I was saying it today that there's a lot of kinetic energy in the building, and there is a lot of kinetic energy in the cage right now. Overlord, one of the biggest, not the biggest vertical spinner today in diameter, because we do have a larger vertical spinner in Gargantuan, which I think we're going to see soon in just a few minutes. But that's not to take anything away from Overlord, who is still quite the big bar for this weight class. And Waddles a little smaller on the diameter, but a lot of mass in that weapon.
7 and 2. So here's what I really like about Overlord usually. That's a big diameter weapon. It's relatively narrow.
Yep.
And some of the shots that affords, some of the destruction that can cause when it gets a really good shot is just devastating. This is the kind of robot that really can split an opponent in half if the shot connects the way that they want.
Yeah.
The flip side is Waddles has this big, wide, stout bar, and that tends to move from disassembling an opponent to throwing an opponent across arena or into a wall or
and
into
it still can disassemble you.
For sure.
But it is more about tossing.
Think about this as the difference between getting hit with a sledgehammer or like a baseball bat versus getting hit with a samurai sword in an old-time movie where you slice him in half. Overlord is going to be closer to slicing you in half when it does what it wants, compared to Waddles that is going to be smashing you to bits with this sledgehammer of a hit.
Change your armor strategies too. You know, like if you have like an ablative plastic armor, that can work great against a weapon like Overlord. It slices through, it slows them down. But then you go up against something like Waddles, and it's not gonna be slicing through. It's just gonna grab the whole chunk and rip it off.
It's practically a handle at that point.
So it changes your armor strategy. It changes a lot of things, and so it'll be interesting to see this matchup. I gotta think Waddles is gonna take this. That would be my pick. But you can't ever discredit a weapon as large as Overlord.
Well, one of the things with Overlord we've seen in the past is reliability issues. Can they keep it together? we're going to have to see in this fight.
1.
Fight, robots, fight.
Very quick spin up from Overlord. Oh, but getting tossed in the air by Waddles.
Waddles kind of went inside around the forks of Overlord there. Did it again.
Oh, now look at this. Oh, and a belt is missing.
Whose belt is that?
I think that's Waddles' belt.
Uh-oh.
That appears to be Waddles' belt.
Is that their only one? That
Yes,
weapon
it
is
is
not moving. Wow.
That is a sniped belt, and that's what that narrow weapon affords them. They can sneak that in between the weapon and the chassis member and just snipe that belt. That was a 1 in a million shot.
Overlord still has their unstick. Waddles had to lose theirs there to get off the wall.
Overlord going for that googly eye. Waddles upside down and not moving.
What an upset here. Waddles can't move. Waddles doesn't have an unstick, and Waddles is getting counted out.
This is gonna be the match.
Overlord celebrating in the center of the arena.
You know, I called it a 1 in a million shot, but we gotta give credit. Overlord precision. Incredible precision in that shot.
Coming out unscathed after that fight. Waddles came in 27 and 10 after 9 events. Overlord came in at 6 and 9. And Overlord just knocked out Waddles.
Yeah, that is an up-and-comer. I have been saying for years that Overlord, if they could just get everything dialed in, and that means the drive, and that means the reliability, everything, that design could really carry them. This is exactly what they want to do. If they can keep up these kind of matches and this kind of durability, they're going to sail through this competition.
Waddles came in, got a few seemingly like direct opportunities against the chassis of Overlord early. Overlord gets 1 hit, weapon goes down on Waddles. Wow. I wonder if Waddles is disappointed in their config choice. Do you think they want to go back and run that fight with a horizontal now?
It's a good question. I mean, I could not have predicted if I was Waddles. No, wait, look at that. I didn't realize. Look at the damage on the back of Waddles. Let's see if we can get a close-up. That has been open like a tin can. Whew. That's why they weren't able to drive when they were inverted.
Yeah.
That sheared metal high-centered them and prevented the wheels from hitting the floor. That is serious damage.
You know, we talked before about armor choice and things like that. You can see, like, you run metal armor, that is kind of a risk. You can have it bend and high center.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. It was really kind of buried the lead, almost literally buried the lead in our arena floor, and then revealed at the last minute. Wild amount of damage. We've never seen that kind of, I think, metal-on-metal damage. Usually we've seen sheared or exploded opponents. But like I was saying earlier, that sort of samurai sword cut, when you're hitting aluminum, that's what that looks like. So very, very impressive damage from Overlord. Bravo to them. I think we're going to be jumping back to the 3-pound arena here in just a moment. We've got about, we have one more 30-pound fight before jumping back to the smaller weight classes. Oh, this is going to be a fun one as well. Deadrise is going to be going up against Gargantuan. Deadrise, I know, has been on a bit of a terror, but Gargantuan running some of the largest wheels we've ever seen here at NHRL. Look at that. We've been saying a bit today, there's almost a standardized wheel size in the 30-pound class for big wheel robots, and that's around 16 inches. Gargantuan is running wildly larger wheels. These are, I think, 24-inch wheels, a full 2 feet. That is massively larger, and they're doing this to kind of play this arms race. Different robots are coming up with configurations to fight these big wheel robots, and what that does is put you closer to the vulnerable parts on a big wheel robot. And how does a big wheel robot counter that? They make the wheels even bigger. You just kind of keep rising your robot off the ground until you're out of reach, and Of course, that comes with downsides as well, but we're going to see if that works out for him today. I think Cage side, we have Sam, who might be able to give us a little more insight onto these developments.
I am cage side here as the box is locked. And golly, these are some big wheels on Gargantuan. I think they're like 19 inches or something, which is 1.3 Durflers. All right, this fight's about to kick off, so let's send it back to the play-by-play booth.
And now Dima's back too. Hi guys.
5,
Hello, Dima.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Fight.
Away
Robots
we go.
fight.
Did that reach work out for Deadrise, or is Gargantuan going to rain hell from above? Wow!
That's where Deadrise does not want to be hit.
You can see Deadrise has added some extra armor. Whoa, look at that, shearing the tire into pieces. But the wheel is still spinning on Gargantuan.
It looks like those tire treads are long for this Earth, though. More keep coming off.
Yeah, but one of the wheels is off of Deadrise now. Along with one of the drive belts. There is parts everywhere in this arena now.
Both robots taking significantly more drive damage before anything happens to either weapon.
Oh, I don't know about that weapon on Gargantuan. It's certainly not spinning now. I see smoke coming out.
It looked like for a second it might have been hitting the floor. The motor is clearly working.
Yeah, but for how long? That smoke is not... Oh, and I saw a bit of flame at the last moment coming out of the weapon on Gargantuan. Not where they want to be. Gargantuan does have 2 weapon motors. One can be entirely up in smoke and the other one could function, but neither seem to be working at the moment. Now the weapon spun down on Deadrise as well. Both of these robots hobbled.
All quiet in cage 1.
Is that the western front of the arena?
Yeah. Western front, eastern front, depending on which part of the bowl you're looking from. But now this is a question of maneuverability and control and who can get the most mileage out of just their drive.
Well, historically, big wheel robots are going to struggle more when they're reduced to just drive.
It's in the name.
But of course, if the drive is not working particularly well on Deadrise, that's going to make it tough to have any control as well. Oh, you can see the drive actually looks like it's okay on Gargantuan, but it's tied up in its own, whatever you want to call it, that piece of plastic that allows them to brace themselves against the floor.
Sort of clipping on their own geometry, so to speak.
Yes, exactly. Oh, now the movement has come to a stop in general. That wheel's barely twitching. I imagine a count out is going to be coming soon. No, that's enough to stave off a count out.
They're trying as hard as they can to make it to the bell. Not looking good though.
No, we have
They're
made
called
it.
unstick in the last seconds.
Unstick, yeah, that will avoid them the count out. But I gotta say, this is not a great look going into the judges.
Even though you didn't get counted out directly, you weren't looking very lively in the last few seconds of that fight.
This is gonna be tough. Yeah, it's tough as well because you can see the reason that the drive functionality is suffering on Deadrise. It's because that belt has been, rendered askew. And what that does is it shows you that the weapon, or shows you the drive side is working some, which of course affords you some points for condition, but it also shows you exactly why it's not working. And that's a mixed bag. Wow, that is a lot of destruction in the arena right now.
I do enjoy when a big wheel starts off, perfectly straight, undamaged, etc., and then it sort of takes on a slightly different shape and angle and stance as things go on.
Yeah, it's a little tough to say.
The overall shape of a big wheel is not defined by its chassis the same way that other robots are typically. like, you know, a typical vert, a typical horizontal, even melties are defined by the shape of their chassis, but the silhouette of a big wheel is defined by its wheels. So when the wheels take damage,
it's a great point.
They look different at the end of the fight.
Sometimes putting a big wheel robot in the arena is like putting noodles in hot water, and just suddenly they're whatever shape gravity makes them feel like being.
Different big wheel pasta shapes at the end. What is the name of the pasta shape?
Wagon
that
wheel.
looks like wagon?
Yeah, I would love some wagon wheel inspired big wheel designs. We've seen it in the past, but it's been a while. It's actually kind of an interesting approach, especially when you've got horizontal spinners that you're fighting as a big wheel.
It looks like Sam might be cage side soon to give us some info with Deadrise.
Yes, Dima, I am here with Joe from Deadrise. And Joe, you seem to have left all your fear in Maryland, is that true?
Yeah, all that fear got left behind. We left that back with the crab cakes and all the Old Bay. We brought the Old Bay with us for emotional support. It's our emotional support season. I think it's going to carry us through the event today. So we can be a little more fearless here, you know?
Well, it was really impressive in that match, but you seem to have taken some damage just from a brief assessment. How's it looking?
You know, the chassis is looking great. Our weapon hub took a couple of hits. We went weapon to weapon a few times. It's a little burn up. He actually got our pulley, but you know what? If that's the only damage I took, I'm extremely excited. We'll swap out some motors, swap out some weapons. We'll be good to go for our next fight.
All right, Joe, thank you. Great showing, and we're looking forward to seeing some more, and we can't wait to see you the rest of the tournament. All right,
Wild amount of damage. We're really going to put our cage crew to work getting that cleaned up. I have been really loving the love that's been shown to our cage crew lately. So much enthusiasm for our broom-wielding compatriots here. They work hard. They work really hard.
They work hard. They get their roses typically when the crowd is excited enough to chant for broomsticks, but that's something you see in prime time later on. But we're still in the prelims. We've yet to see the full effect of those broomsticks countering the cage damage that's inevitable in these robot fights. Get in there, collect everything you can. Some of those parts are going to get kicked back up to the pits for repairs, and some of them are going to be given as trophies. For those that don't know or are unfamiliar, it's customary to give a trophy of a destroyed piece of your robot to the pilot and robot that destroyed you. I thought that was the coolest thing when I started the sport, and I still think it's the coolest thing. The prizes and trophies that I have from other robots I've destroyed are on my shelf and on my mantle, and they're some of my favorite decorations that I have. I look back and I see, oh, this chunked up Mako saw is from when I beat Julian in Grand Finals. Oh, this wheel that I tore to shreds is from one of my first fights in prelims. It's just such a lovely thing to be able to share with each other as builders.
You know, if you want to go one step deeper, we don't do this anymore, but once upon a time, the golden dumpsters that we handed out were actually filled with arena debris.
That's gross.
Yeah, it was gross. That's why we stopped doing it. But little bits of electronics and shredded LiPo batteries and who knows what else, just loading up a little box to put on your wall. Just take a fire hazard home with you.
LiPos, any pieces of a LiPo I would not tangle with. Little pieces of rubber, little belts, etc. Those are fine. But once you start getting electrical components, I don't like those trophies.
It is important to note we do monitor both the arena, the spectator space, the whole building at large to make sure these sort of questionable chemicals don't build up to problematic levels. And it's amazing to me how effective some of the systems we have in here, the ventilation and the filtration and all that. I frankly was skeptical until we measured it and did better than we thought. Because it is some nasty stuff sometimes. It is important that you're doing this. If you're ever going to get into this at home, make sure that you're doing this at places that know what they're doing, take safety seriously. You shouldn't be huffing LiPo smoke.
That's the vent hoods in cages that take the LiPo smoke away after a battery fire. They do such an amazing job that you could be cage side and you can catch like a whiff for a second, and then it kind of goes away really, really fast, and the vent hood clears everything out before the cage doors even reopen.
Yeah, a little fun fact, if you go up to one of the vents that's sucking these fumes out of the arena and you hold your phone up to it, it will just suck your phone up into the vent.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah.
You get tractor beamed.
Yeah, you get tractor beamed. It gives you a full Doc Brown experience with your hair as you walk under it.
No, thank you. Not these curls.
No, you don't want that with those curls. I can pull it off on one of my shorter crop days, but I think we have some cage side announcement for this fight, and we're going to go to Kyle and Adam for that bit of announcing flair.
Thank you, Ricky. We very much so appreciate that. We are standing by for a little 12-pound action. Adam, how you feeling about this?
I'm excited. I mean, it's going to happen right behind us.
All right, we've got V1 going up against the Grim Ripper.
Oh, you can hear it spin up. Grim Ripper looks better every time I see it.
Grim Ripper, this awesome undercutter with the crazy shell design from Nelson Byros in Massachusetts. V1 coming at you from Rolla, Missouri, Mason Mannion.
It's so hard for V1 to get a hit on the shape of Grim Ripper. Just deflects everything.
It's just one big roundy wedge.
This is the first event for V1.
Yeah, they've been fighting in Missouri and then the Midwest for 6 years, it says, but this is their first time here in NHRL.
Yeah,
and first event for this
dialed
robot.
In, a nice looking robot for a first time out to NHRL. Just chipping away at Grim Ripper. Grim Ripper moving a little bit worse here at the start. Oh!
Where'd it go?
Where did they go?
There they go. It's like they teleported behind the house spot.
Grim Ripper never works too good upside down. You can see there the left wheel is not spinning on Grim Ripper. The weapon is, the right wheel is, but they are down a side of drive, and that's not good, especially when they're upside down.
That wheel looks like it's kind of hanging off of the mount for it as well. It's not quite attached right.
V1 being a little hesitant here. Grim Ripper able to self-right. V1 loses the opportunity to send them flying again.
Well, I mean, it's early in the day. V1 might just be saving their stuff. Maybe they don't want to go full send right now, you know?
Halfway through the fight here, V1 has to be leading it on the judges' scorecard so far as Grim Ripper's condition is worse, and I have seen nothing but attack out of V1, save for maybe a moment there when Grim Ripper was stuck behind the house robot.
Really great first showing for Mason and V1. You're bringing in a bot from just a completely different ecosystem in Missouri and showing what they can do in this very competitive 12-pound weight class.
You hear the 1 minute call there from the ref as Grim Ripper hits the ceiling almost on that hit.
Oh, did you see that? Weapon to weapon impact sends Grim Ripper end over end.
So this robot V1 is actually sponsored by a video game called Ultra Kill. It's modeled after their main character.
Oh, I like Ultra Kill. It's a fun game.
Well, V1 is 1-0 on the day. They're looking to go to 2-0 if they can take out Grim Ripper here and punch their ticket to the tournament. However, V1 doing a little bit of a dance here, losing a side of drive on their own. And is the weapon down too, Kyle?
Yeah, it looks like it's definitely not spinning at the speed that it was.
Spinning back up, 8 seconds left, and definitely some maneuverability issues, some weapon issues. However, Grim Ripper not moving at all as we get the countdown. The prove it period starts. You could see the weapons working on both. Drive, not great on either robot.
In isolation, not a great prove it for V1, but compared to Grim Ripper, it's just fine.
Yeah, a bit better than Grim Rippers. I think V1 is going to take that. Grim Ripper, a rough outing. You don't usually see that from them. The wheel actually completely off here. You can see it hanging at an angle.
Yeah, really impressive day for Mason and V1. You know, it's always incredible to see somebody show up at NHRL and just really do well against some of these like higher ranking.
You gotta
big
feel
name
good
bots.
coming out first event 2-0 on the day, making the tournament. Going to be ranked seated pretty highly, you know, with these wins. That's a nice day for them already.
Yeah, really nice. Getting that local experience before coming here is sometimes a real key to success.
Yeah, I mean, almost the only downside is they don't have a loss yet. You know, you get a loss that builds up your experience a little bit, ability to bounce back. Now you find some weaknesses. They're just coming in and winning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to find that weakness. But I don't know. I think they probably like winning.
Really cool design on the bot, too. Just simple. We're going to keep coming at you with some 12-pound action. We've got Pramheda coming up, going up against Ace of Spades.
I talked to Ace of Spades earlier, and they said their only goal of the day was to get the opportunity to fight Pramheda. I think they've got a chance to beat Pramheda, Kyle. That would be quite the upset, their first event here.
Be careful what you wish for. Zach Knight is a driver on a different level in this 12-pound weight class. Absolutely amazing to watch.
We've been seeing upsets all day long, Kyle, and I don't think they're going to stop.
No, I'd say that what we just saw was an upset right there. Grim Ripper, well-respected robot, highly seeded at this event, and they're all gone.
Yeah, I mean, Pramheda is, you know, a perennial contender here in NHRL. Really well built, really dialed in. I'd say even a bit deceptive when you look at it. It doesn't look like it's going to be as good as it is.
No, absolutely. And I will say that Zach Knight, current reigning defending world champion in that 12-pound weight class, well-deserved, just such a well-thought driver. Decent builder, but that driving prowess is really what sets him above everybody else. Yeah. And he's piloting this new concept, this anti-big wheel design, that we're now seeing several people in the pits adopt for this event.
Yeah, it's all about configurations as you see more and more types of robots. This is going to be a classic vertical versus horizontal matchup coming up, as we see one right there. Pramheda is just so strong. See a roof shot here. You think we'll get a roof shot in the next match?
Oh yeah, this is the #1 seed today, reigning and defending world champ Pramheda, 12-pound royalty, Zach Knight behind the helm.
Now we have a whole video up on Pramheda you can check out on the NHRL YouTube channel.
All right, we are loaded into the box. There you see Pramheda on the left. Beautiful pink bot in support of breast cancer awareness.
Just a deceptive robot, Kyle. We're going to toss it to the booth to call this one. Ricky and Dima, what are you thinking?
I am thinking we're going to have some big hits, Dima.
I could not agree more. Pramheda is always a joy to watch, not only in the driving and the mobility, but look at that thick weapon. Stuff's going to go flying.
Yeah, and with that big wedge on the front of Pramheda, they should be able to take a beating long enough to get that weapon to connect.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fight.
Off we
Robots
go.
fight.
Good spin up from Ace of Spades. Pramheda a little slow out of its box.
Looks like neither's really going for a box rush, though.
Wow, look at those sparks fly. Pramheda going flying a little bit. Ace of Spades recovering very well.
Zach taking longer to recover. Maybe he's not on his full A game today.
I mean, you don't usually expect that sort of backlash when you've got a plow like Pramheda does in this fight.
We always got to be ready with a vert and a self-right. Okay.
That was a big hit into the wall. That put a nice gouge in there.
Weapon looks like it was down for a second. Spun back up, though. Pramheda now getting
Ace
the
of
better of these
Spades
engagements.
jumping into the air. Now stop. It's no longer moving. It has stopped.
Is this the KO count? Is that it?
I think so. That was probably it.
Unless Ace of Spades has one last trick up their sleeve.
They called for an unstick, and Zach immediately starts attacking.
It doesn't look like the jostling of these attacks is helping them wake up.
Tap out.
That is a tap out.
There we go. Lovely performance by Zach Knight. Proving the confidence going into this entire tournament, this entire season, is not unwarranted.
Not in the least.
If anybody wants to know about this amazing competitor who has robots in multiple divisions, NHRL recently did a sort of documentary on him that you can find on their YouTube page. I thought it was a really interesting watch, even though I already know the guy.
Yeah, I love getting that sort of deep dive. You get to understand how much goes into not just these individual robots, but the entire robotic career of some of these builders. It really humanizes the whole experience, and it brings such a feeling of depth and understanding to some of these fights. It lets you understand some of the stakes that these competitors are up against.
It's easy to have a favorite robot. Some of them are simply so cool looking they can't help but become your favorite. But when you're in this sport for a while as a competitor or as a driver or a builder, it's easy to eventually get a favorite competitor too. And Zach Knight is many people's favorite competitor.
And it becomes easy to see why when you dump that time into watching his background story and the background story of his robots.
It's only 20 minutes. It's not a feature-length film.
That's
but
a great point.
Yeah, I'm telling people to watch a documentary. I don't want people to think that I'm doing some Ken Burns baseball stuff. No,
you put that on double speed, you're done in 10 minutes.
I think we have some info cage side with the aforementioned Zach Knight. Sam, take it away for us.
Yes, thank you, Dima. I am with Zach Knight, a decisive victory. Congratulations on that. Thank you. Why is March your month?
March has always been the month we competed at. B.O.A.T IQ, we competed there, and through every Norwalk I've attended with Pramheda, I have never placed outside the top 4.
And so for today, you going all the way?
I mean, there's a lot of good robots here. We have to find out, but I know, according to calculations, I should already be in prime time.
All right, Zach, thank you so much. Good luck for the rest of the day with both robots, and back to y'all, Kyle and Adam.
Thank you so much, Sam. That's right. This is the month of Pramheda. This is the month of Zach Knight. Speaking of Pramheda, we have a very familiar-looking robot coming into the box next. We're going to have the Void. Same team. You can see him right there. This is essentially, I don't know, following the family lineage of robots is always a little bit challenging. But the Void, I guess you could say, is the cousin or spiritual successor in many ways to Pramheda. And they're going up against the rare 6-wheel configuration of Blue Cheese. Void, number 3 seed at this event.
We saw Blue Cheese earlier today driving around pretty well, but the weapon, maybe you could just be described as a bit of a glass cannon.
Yeah.
Really heavy, really powerful. Didn't last very long. Do you think they've got that dialed in?
Blue Cheese is often a very weapon kind of balanced robot, right? Like all the points tend to go to the weapon in this robot. And that's a strategy. It doesn't always work, but man, when it does, this thing is really cool to watch.
Well, I do think the drive config is really interesting. It drives really well. It's very controlled for how big that weapon is.
3, 2, 1.
Fight, robots, fight.
But they got a bit of an uphill battle here against the 3 seed today.
Wow.
Void dancing. Void doesn't want to go weapon to weapon here.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, look at that. It's terrifying. Listen to that.
That gives an advantage to Blue Cheese. They're able to get a side hit because Void is trying to avoid it. Oh, Blue Cheese drives themselves into a wall here. So much gyro in that weapon. Oh!
Wow.
And that could be it as Blue Cheese spins down, smoke comes out, and it's not moving anywhere. I don't know if Void did anything in that fight, Kyle, but Blue Cheese is now on fire.
Well, that T-bone shot right there, I mean, that was either really lucky or just extremely well timed, but that was amazing.
Yeah, do you think that, Blue Cheese kind of drove over the weapon there, took a base plate shot,
That
maybe?
seems like what happened, yeah, because look at all that smoke billowing out the bottom and kind of low smoke. You see how that's kind of really heavy weighted smoke hanging out of the floor. Typically that signifies some lipo.
Oh, let's take a look at the replay here, Kyle. Maybe we can see just what happened at the end of that fight. Oh, yeah, as Void comes in and nails that base plate with a well-timed hit. Good catch, Kyle.
Yep.
That's all she wrote for Blue Cheese.
And there you see what's left of Blue Cheese. I'm sure our fire suppression system on the house spot flow has been cooling that off as much as humanly possible to make it safe for people to come in and retrieve it.
And these lipo fires have a habit of restarting themselves after they've seemingly gone out.
But the standard operating procedure is we cool that off as much as possible, get it into a rolling dumpster full of sand, and get that thing outside as quickly as possible to let it continue to burn itself out. Looks like they've got it cooled off pretty well. I don't see anything wisping out right now. Can't be too careful with these volatile materials, though.
Yeah, I wonder if they have a drive and a weapon battery, maybe a smaller one lit, maybe just one cell lit. That wasn't too big of a lipo fire, so it doesn't seem like they all lit.
Yeah, you didn't get that glorious cascade.
Yeah, I
Sorry.
didn't see any direct flames.
Driver asked me to not point it at him.
Here they come with the dumpster. Team Defective standing by so they can check out the damage to their robot after the fact. That was Team Defective versus Team Defective action, by the way.
Team on team destruction.
Team Defective, one of the larger teams as far as membership goes here at NHRL.
Yeah, I think once they can dial in Blue Cheese a little bit more, get the reliability up there, it's dangerous looking.
Yeah.
I mean, it keeps coming out of the arena in one piece.
Yeah.
And that is...
This is a great version of it, for sure.
Yeah. I think maybe, it's counterintuitive. Maybe turn down the weapon a tad. I
Yeah.
think it could help. But once they get that dialed in, it's going to be, I think it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Dangerous in the future for sure. That's 2 losses on the day. Unfortunately, I think that means they're going to be going home. Unless, did they win their first one?
I was not available for that
I think
fight,
they might have went to judges. They might have won that one, so maybe they have another fight in the bag.
But what a cool design. 6-wheel. There is no bottom to this robot, really.
Yeah. Yeah, really cool design. You see a lot of people just kind of put larger wheels to reach the top and the bottom. I like the small wheels. They can be more durable, take more hits themselves than if you just kind of put a larger wheel on there. It kind of gets a little bit more fragile. Going outside in the sandbox, and then they'll disassemble it in the nice fresh air.
Yeah, it's always the best thing to do. There's no better ventilation than outside.
Yeah.
We've got more 3-pound action coming your way next. Pipeline Punch is going to be in the box. I absolutely love that robot. And we'll be coming at you with the KO show here very soon.
Count down the time to the KO show. When we stop here, we're going to be on the main NHRL channel.
That's right.
And at that point in the evening, every fight is a knockout fight. If you lose, you go home once we hit the KO show.
After that, we'll have our finals presentation. If you fight in the finals, you qualify for the Pro World Tour. That is the big change in our structure this season. The Pro World Tour is how you get to showcase your robot against the best of the best and possibly win the Pro World Championship in December.
Yeah, everyone is fighting to come back to get that golden Brett later in December. But tonight we'll be handing out the golden dumpster for March. And,
the coveted golden dumpster, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of eyes on that prize tonight. That'll be 7 p.m. Eastern. We start streaming the final tournament to determine who wins the golden dumpster. Right now we're whittling down the field to get to the top 8 in every weight class for prime time later tonight.
All right, we've got some big bot action in Cage 2 coming your way. Dima and Ricky are going to call this one from our state-of-the-art play-by-play booth.
Thank you, Kyle. Really excited to see this one. Pipeline Punch is a sort of, at this point, this is a legend. This is a legendary robot that will always put up an amazing performance in the cage. A little bit of a classic vert with a weapon that's kind of on the bigger side, but the more modern dustpan shape to go with its very tuned-in four-wheel drive. But it's up against Fragment X, coming out of Newcastle, Colorado, from Shadow Combat Robotics. Their driver's background is millwork and carpentry, and you can kind of see why those would be useful skills here. Maybe not necessarily the carpentry of building a chair, but the millwork, I can see where that come in handy.
I would think so. Yeah, it's amazing how hands-on skills can really transfer in ways that you wouldn't expect. But so much of this just comes down to, can you work with your hands? And if yes, then you can probably learn what goes along with combat robotics.
You can probably put one of these together. It's easy. It's easy to sort of, CAD for a really long time and then think, oh, building a robot is mostly CAD, but then you got to actually build that sucker.
Yeah, it's something a lot of robot builders hit is you feel like, okay, well, I've just hit the perfect design, and then if you hadn't prototyped it, if you hadn't tried out some of those things, you realize, well, my design is really only just getting started.
There's so much more iterating to be done once you've already saved the file.
I say that, though, some people are just amazing in that front. They put it together, it's exactly what they envisioned, and boom. I've met a few of those people. They are very few and far between.
Sometimes people are just different beasts with this. Mm-hmm. I think this fight is going to be really interesting to watch because the ground game is really important in this matchup. And Fragment X has sort of a quadruple fork configuration to Pipeline Punch's 2. So I'm hardly even thinking about weapon-to-weapon engagements, even though both blades look pretty similar. I'm thinking about who's going to get under who.
It's interesting to me as well. These are relatively skinny blades on both of these robots. When you have big, hardened steel forks like this, you can end up with some really interesting damage and some... it puts a real punishment on the weapon blade itself.
3,
so we'll see.
2, 1.
Fight, robots, fight.
Wow, both robots up to a very quick spin up. Very little movement from Pipeline Punch there for the beginning, and then their head up into the air.
You got a pushing match here to the corner. A pin, but the weapons are not touching.
No, despite the fact that Pipeline Punch is on top, they were winning the pushing match. And then Pipeline Punch flipped into the air. Excuse me. Fragment X flipped into the air over and over and over again.
That was a beautiful juggle on the wall, playing wall ball, bouncing.
The stability from Pipeline is fantastic.
You're seeing what the effect of all that iterating and all that dialing in is doing for Pipeline, where it's so stable and consistent.
And now they're upside down, but Fragment not able to take advantage of it, and Pipeline right back at it.
Pipeline Punch is zooming across the arena.
Yeah, they are a speedy robot. The reflexes on display here, very impressive.
He had a brief little, another stare down sort of pin. More wall juggles.
Yeah, fantastic driving from Ian Talbert. Oh, look at that. The weapon. Oh, that is intense. The weapon blade on Fragment X is embedded in the arena floor, and Pipeline Punch is helping them out.
That was an amazing moment. Pipeline Punch was embedded in Fragment X, and Fragment X was embedded in the floor, and everybody got cleared out. Okay, here's Fragment X's
Pipeline
chance.
is stuck in the corner.
Here's Fragment's chance to do some damage. Even the house bot moving, Pipeline's still stuck. Here we go.
Oh, and Pipeline is upside down. Their weapon is not able to self-right them. And they're taking a huge hit from Fragment X.
Ooh, this is bad.
Pieces being shed from the side of Pipeline Punch.
Their drive might be down. Maybe their ESC took some damage. They're not moving. Okay, here we go. They're back up, but now the weapon is down. You get one or the other, it seems. Looks like they're taking some really significant hits in the back. I see chunks taken out of its most vulnerable part.
Belt is now gone. I think that's the weapon blade on Pipeline Punch. Weapon belt on Pipeline Punch. The wheels are spinning on the back, but I have to imagine that it's high-centered, and now Fragment X getting hung up on the forks of Pipeline.
30 seconds left. The Pipeline Punch has been KO'd. That was an amazing fight. Pipeline Punch had such an upper hand with all those wall juggles and combos, but they were stuck in a bad position for long enough that Fragment X got some really, really clean, effective hits where it mattered most.
Yeah, they were really well delivered. Whether that was by skill or by luck is hard to know. But look at the slice right in the rump of Pipeline Punch. That you got to imagine. That's the zoom in point. That is where the battery on that robot is held, I believe. I believe the electronics are on either side. That could have been the killer hit.
Even if you have like a back plate or any sort of reinforcement armor, you do not want to get hit there.
No, and part of the reason for that, oh look, I can see, the underside damage being shown off. Part of the reason for that is that's the big structural member in your robot becomes that center point, especially when you have a big weapon blade that's sort of cradled in the middle. You need that back half of the robot to give you structure between the two halves. So any real structural damage there compromises the entire structure of your robot. It's a narrow spot, and it's why so many people, when you ask them what the strategy is, it's like, well, we got to get behind them.
It's such easier said than done, too, and then it becomes like a little bit of a joke. It's like, well, of course, if you can get behind them, you will. But that's the sort of heads-up driving that was required of Fragment X to win that, is Pipeline Punch got stuck. That's your opportunity, and you got to take that opportunity. And the hits that they handed were clearly effective enough to end the fight, get the KO.
I mean, Pipeline Punch might as well have been sitting there with a big glowing X that says weak point for that particular moment. You know, they sent him into a corner, or rather, Fragment X sent Pipeline Punch into a corner, and as they sat there, it just completely opened their biggest possible vulnerability, and they did not squander it.
That's also the downside of such effective fort configurations, is that they can get stuck in the floor or on a kick plate just as well as you try to get the opposing robot stuck.
True.
You say weak point on the back. I wonder the legality of putting a kick me sign on my robot. A little sticky note. Classic cartoon gags. We love cartoon violence here at NHRL. PG.
Oh boy, this is... We're coming up on the last fight before the KO show. Our KO show starting at 2 o'clock. So get ready, because this will be our off-ramp for the early part of the day.
The last fight is a treat for you guys, but it's especially a treat for me. I get to watch my brother take a 1v2 TurboFIEND versus Gambit fighting a multi-bot vertical spinner. Now, I have the experience to know how I would handle this matchup, but I've driven TurboFIEND more than Julian has, so I wonder how he's going to handle it. Of course, I gave him some advice before this tournament and during the morning before everything started. He was like, what should I do against X or Y? I gave him some tips. Let's see if he listened to me. Let's see if he trusts his younger sister. That's all I'll say.
You know, I love this. Wrapping up, this is the denouement to our early part of the event, and we get this personal aspect of sisterhood, brotherhood, bringing us a personal element as we go into this last fight.
We do have a robot that has not yet competed at NHRL, has competed only at a smaller event called Sibling Rivalry. Sibling Rivalry is undefeated, I will say. I just want to talk about TurboFIEND for a second. It looks so cute with the little X eyes that it has. When TurboFIEND loses one of its basic eyes, we tape over the little X's to represent that it's lost an eye. It's gotten some more and more structural elements and design changes added to it in recent months. It's gotten a lot tougher. I would say if you think of these robots with stats, its defense stat has gone way, way up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Fight.
Away we go. We'll see how the multi-bot approach works.
Here we go. What he wants. Okay.
Double juggle.
This is TurboFIEND in action. I can't even yell at my brother. This is doing exactly what he should do.
Oh, little bits of shredded plastic going everywhere from Gambit's halves.
Oh, this is so beautiful to watch. You just got to run through them. Even though they have the the fact that there's multiple of them as an advantage, TurboFIEND is bigger, so it has to just be the aggressor in these engages.
Well, and one of the incredible things about TurboFIEND, its geometry allows him to scoop up both opponents at once.
Yup. Yes,
Look
sir.
At those shredded parts. Carbon fiber going everywhere, bits of rubber.
And each segment of Gambit is not looking particularly maneuverable right now, so Julian gets to pick his shot, so he's taking his sweet time.
One drive side left per half of robot, and I see weapon belts torn asunder.
He's doing like the cartoon gag where like you hold one in each arm and clank them up against each other.
Mm-hmm. As you said, cartoon violence heavily encouraged here at NHRL.
This is just so fun to watch. I really love this robot. Sort of have almost a personal connection to this robot.
Weapon sounding very dialed in on TurboFIEND. Almost as soon as it slows down, it spins back up.
And Julian, used to controlling the Mako Saw, he has a good handle on knowing when to spin a vert weapon up and down. You can see the wheel left behind the hub and motor.
Yeah,
on
the
one segment of
retaining
Gambit.
plate still dangling helplessly. And that is it. TurboFIEND taking home the win.
Julian screaming to the crowd, "Who do you think you are? I am."
A lot of well-earned excitement.
What do I think about that? I think you did a good job. I think that was a gold star. I think that was a gold sticker performance. Can you keep it up, bro?
That
Sticker ready.
It's funny that he hears me like voice of God from above.
Well, that is a wonderful cherry on top of our qualifying rounds here at the March 2026 NHRL event. We are going to be moving to our KO show soon. Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to tune in there starting at 2 o'clock. As a little bit of a sign-off for you, we're going to go to Sam. He's going to give you one more refresher on what has changed for this year, what to look forward to in our KO show, and, of course, in our prime time feature. And we will see you just a little bit later today. Thanks again.
Better fights, clearer outcomes, and a stronger experience for both fans and competitors alike. Here's what's new for the 2026 season at the National Havoc Robot League. The 2026 rule set pushes much harder towards using your active weapon to attack and cause actual harm. It's always been this way at NHRL, but now we're doubling down. Why? Because it leads to more entertaining fights, more understandable outcomes, and a better experience overall for everyone, both watching and competing. Judging now reflects that philosophy. We've gone from 3 judging categories down to 2, condition and attack. Condition replaces what used to be known as damage, but it's flipped. Instead of getting judged on the damage you do to your opponent, you're now judged on the condition of your robot at the end of the match. Attack replaces control and aggression, and it measures the intensity and frequency of your attacks, and critically, how effective you were at causing harm with your active weapon. Going from 3 categories to 2 will allow us to have faster judges' decisions, more consistency, and a clearer alignment between what happens in the cage and what fans expect the outcome of the match to be. Next up, how you compete. So for 2026, we have 3 distinct competitive paths. Some people enjoy showing up, immediately getting matched up against elite teams, and going 0-2. But that doesn't necessarily make you a better builder, and it isn't necessarily the best on-ramp into the sport of fighting robots. XP creates a softer landing for newcomers, so they get more fights, more experience, and a clear progression towards open tournaments. The opens stay largely the same, but with a more fair ranking system and a registration that prioritizes experienced competitors. The biggest addition for 2026 is the Pro Tour. The Pro Tour is 3 invite-only events. These events feature the absolute best builders in the world, major prizes, and the highest level of competition NHRL has ever seen. If you reach primetime at a qualifying event, you'll earn an invite. You don't have to attend, but we think you'll want to. Pro Tour introduces an NHRL Pro rank, which determines your seeding at the NHRL Pro World Championships. Top 4 at an Open still qualifies you for the World Champs, but your Pro Tour rank determines where you'll start. We want the intensity, the prestige, and energy of Worlds throughout the year, not just at the finale. Fans are showing up, builders are raising their game, and the demand is real. These changes represent the next stage of NHRL's evolution. Stronger rules, clearer competition paths, higher stakes, and bigger stages. We are so excited for this 2026 season, and we can't wait to see what you build.